Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy, John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go back at you with my boys. Again this week, man, Vlad and Barry. What's good, John?
Yo. What's going on, guys?
What's good,
what's
Vlad?
up? What up, Vlad? Welcome back, boy.
Welcome back, man.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks, dog, for real.
Miss spotting. Excited to be back.
We're excited to have you back, man.
Right, absolutely. Barry? And yeah, I'm doing great. Excited as always for another great and fun episode that we're about to have. I know there's going to be a lot of energy today, with Vlad, back, and our special guest coming on pretty soon. So I'm definitely looking forward to having some fun with you guys today and doing what we do. So we are on to episode 59, fellas.
59. I'm gonna say London Fletcher.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes. I like that one. Mm-hmm. One of the most underrated linebackers in the league. Interesting stat that I looked up was that he had for pretty much his whole career 100+ tackles every single season.
Yep.
Right. Which is crazy.
He's a machine.
Right. And goes to show you how durable he was. And those guys get banged up all the time because they're the ones that are doing the hard hitting and taking the most contact. With the.
And he's not even that big.
Exactly right.
He wasn't like the biggest linebacker. Like he was just everywhere though. And played with technique and precision, man.
Right. No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Dude was a beast and, one of the best linebackers to play the game without question. Mm-hmm. Another one that I have is Jack Hamm.
Jack Hamm. I've seen that one.
Yeah, played for the Steelers alongside Lebron, who we talked about recently on the podcast, won 4 Super Bowls and was Defensive Player of the Year in 1975. Another one that I don't know if you guys remember this person, but Roosevelt Colvin.
Didn't Gary Guyton wear the same jersey
that's another
too?
one.
Yes.
He was.
I like that guy
too.
I liked him.
Yeah, I liked him.
You guys like Gary Guyton?
Well.
Yo, he had some hustle to him. He wasn't like the best or anything, but the guy would play hard.
He played,
you know what I mean?
He did, right.
He played hard.
He was gritty. He was scrappy, right. No, that's what I liked about him. He was a hard worker.
I remember it was one of those years it was during the 10-year we didn't win a Super Bowl.
Oh, one of the year that we sucked? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, one of the years that
That's one of the years we sucked.
We really sucked.
No, you ain't lying, no. It's
not. Because that was the season that Teddy Bruschi retired before the the beginning of the season, and we got smoked by Ray Rice first game of the
game of the playoffs. Man.
That's a good memory, man. That's a good memory.
That is a good memory. Shoot, I didn't even remember that.
I always remember Gary Guyton because Bill Belichick was talking about him. Like the team was in the film room. And he was like, yo, y'all got to be excited about what y'all doing out there. Yeah. Y'all got to play with excitement and have fun out there. Look at this tackle. And Gary Guyton made this crazy tackle. Nobody's rushing to him to congratulate him on making such a great tackle. So he's like, y'all got to be excited and be into the game, that you have to
show
have fun
some emotion. Right.
Exactly. So I always remember him for that. And he did have a good amount of hustle. One more. You got any more? That was it.
Dang, for 59, I think I don't know if you know this linebacker, Danny Trevison.
Yes, he played for the Broncos.
Broncos, and I think he plays for
Bears.
The Bears now.
Yes, they traded him. Mm-hmm.
Right. They traded him last year. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's been a pretty solid linebacker in the league. Right. And he's been playing for a while, but he's definitely a good player and good at his role and what he does.
Notable guy, man. So under
episode absolutely
59, the London Fletcher episode.
Yes.
And before we start the show, just please make sure you're following us on social media in this platform right here. So we're on Instagram, that's profans_sports. We're on twitter.com/profansports. So that's at profansports. We're on facebook.com/profansports. Then, of course, the youtube.com/profansports. Make sure you subscribe because most people actually don't. About 88% of the people don't. So make sure you're doing that right now because that helps out the channel. And as always, we're going to be hitting up on the NFL, man.
Let me see your shirt, Barry. Let me see your shirt.
I'm glad someone noticed that.
I didn't even notice that.
This guy was screaming. He was screaming for attention.
I didn't even notice that.
Since we got on the pod.
Is that Brady?
Like, let me
Brady.
fix it.
It's the Brady drunk shirt.
Oh, the Brady drunk
when he was
shirt.
drunk at the parade. Yeah,
we're living that B-Money lifestyle.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, yes. Shout out to Tom Brady. He was definitely living that B-Money lifestyle to the fullest at the parade. In February. So. Yeah,
people make money off of anything, man.
Right, for real.
Slap that on a shirt, sell that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. It's easy bread and easy bag right there.
America, man.
I know we could even do it, but I know.
Actually, we do. We do have our own shirt. This is Pro Fan Sports. Vlad got a sweatshirt on right now.
Right. He's repping. Yes,
right.
Sir.
If people actually want to get, a sweater, a shirt, man, you can even get a clock, your bed sheets, your shower curtains, dog. Go to redbubble.com/people/profansports.
Yes.
redbubble.com/people/profansports, and you can get some merch and help us out like that as well. But like I was saying, man, we're gonna get into the NFL, NFL draft, Patriots recap. We're going to get into the NBA, what's going on over there. Some guys are coming back, get into the Celtics. And then we'll talk about the Red Sox a little bit, the Bruins. And then I believe we got some B-Money lifestyle people. So we'll get into that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, man, it's the biggest week in the NFL so far this year,
right. Biggest week of the offseason.
Yes, of the offseason, outside of, training camps, rookie mini camps. Outside of that, this is like the biggest thing that happens in the NFL draft, and I think we had a really good and interesting draft this year. What y'all think?
Well, the draft itself, where it was located, it was in Cleveland. I thought it was a nice setup outside. I was watching, and I was like, "Yo, how much money does that cost? Like, that's like." Millions and millions of dollars to set that up because it was
that production.
Yeah, it was a really
man. It is.
The only thing I thought it was corny that they had the commissioner's chair from last year.
Yeah, with the fans
from his basement last year. Yeah, right.
I didn't.
That was whack.
I don't know.
Who wants to sit on your chair, man?
Yeah, for what? I don't care.
For what?
That part was corny, but besides that, I thought it was cool.
That thing looked beat up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. You couldn't get you a new chair, bro? With all the money you make, you couldn't get you a better looking chair than that? For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was cool. I'm always excited for the draft. I always love to watch at least the first round. And that was exciting. And specifically for Patriots fan, I think this is one of the most important drafts we've seen in a long, long time since maybe they drafted Drew Bledsoe.
The most consequential draft
we're
going to have
since they drafted Drew Bledsoe. So,
right.
It was really exciting for me, actually.
Yeah, no, I like this, year's draft. It was pretty interesting, particularly that first round. They had, some exciting moments in picks. in the draft with, the surprise at number 3, and then, the Bears trading up to get a quarterback in Justin Fields. That was definitely, surprising. They moved all the way up from 20 to 11 in order to do that. And then, and the different, things that happened, and also just seeing the moments with, the, players and their families, and, the players congratulating each other that played, with each other in college, was, pretty cool. Also seeing, the fans back there,
that was pretty cool
as well. And it kind of reminded me of when I actually went to the NFL draft in 2018, and when it was in Dallas, Texas at Cowboys Stadium, they had like a similar setup where they had like an outside setup and also an inside setup too.
Let me ask you
as well.
Let me ask you a question. How much did it cost to attend the draft?
So it was actually free. You had to like get a pass. You had to, like ahead of time. You had to, go on,
sign up online or something.
Yeah, sign up online on like the NFL website, and
but it's not.
Get it.
It's not guaranteed.
Right, exactly. It's like a first come, first serve thing. Right. And there's a standing like room, and believe me, that line is long. Like we had to wait for a while. Luckily, we got there, with the time that we did, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be able to, get into the draft. So, I'm, fortunate that I was able to get that experience. But it's a great atmosphere and great environment to be in if you're a big football fan.
Was that first round?
Yeah. So when I went, yes, I just went for the first round.
Who did the Patriots draft that year?
So it's funny because they actually had 2 draft picks that year. They had gotten Sony Michel and Isaiah Wynn. Right. That was the year when we, lost to Philly, and then, in the Super Bowl.
Got it.
And stuff. So, yeah, that was a pretty cool moment and stuff. But, no, definitely the draft was awesome and was fun to watch. I actually enjoyed that, and, it wasn't boring like, most drafts are. So I'm glad that, that the draft was back, and, and there was much more energy with this year's draft.
I mean, we were on the live, close to the Patriots pick. So a lot of people actually tuned in on that and watched it and was asking crazy questions on there. We had to shut some guys down too. So ProFans_sports on Instagram, get that. But for me, it definitely was a different feel. I like the fact that they had, the in-person and the virtual portion of it, guys that are at home with their families and the reactions and stuff. I really love them bringing in like family members and people that were close to the draft picks that talked a little bit about the draft picks, kind of like Devonta Smith, like his barber came on and spoke about how proud he was because he's actually the one that like trained him and took him to the camps and all that stuff. So that was like a little added dimension that I really liked there. It was just an exciting draft, especially with all the quarterbacks that were in the first round. We haven't seen that, in a really long time. And it was just very, very exciting, man. It was a good production, like Vlad was saying. That thing cost a lot of money, man. And
sure does.
Only thing was I was really annoyed with all the teams taking, 8 minutes to actually call out the damn picks.
They took longer than that, John. It was even longer than that. It was ridiculous.
Y'all was annoyed by that?
Yo, listen.
Yes.
Pick number 1. Who's the pick? We've known the pick for like a year now.
I knew that was gonna happen. It happens every year. You're gonna
every single year, bro.
But I think it's a play. You're gonna wait till I don't know, maybe like there's a minute and a half left, just in case a team calls you and tells you something crazy.
Yeah, but I don't think the Jaguars were going to trade.
It's not that you don't.
you should already know what's gonna be. Like, that's too late for that.
No, that's not what I said though. I didn't say you don't know who you're picking. You're just waiting to see if any team is gonna just blow you out of the water. You just have to.
Only thing I could imagine is if the Packers called, Jacksonville.
Exactly, and they say,
like, we'll give you Aaron Rodgers right now. You know what I mean? And you 2 first-round picks if you give us.
you change your mind, right? If that happens, you change your mind.
That's the only scenario I could ever see.
And that's why they wait. They wait just in case a team is gonna do something crazy.
Yeah, but that really ever happens though. That's very rare and seldom for that to happen.
I agree, but I think it's a rule. You just like, no, I know we know what we're picking, I know we know what we're doing, but let's just wait. We have the time. Let's not hurry. Bro, I didn't mind. I knew I've watched other NFL drafts before, and I knew that was gonna happen. So I had something else in the background while I was watching the draft as well. So
plus, it's like, dudes are getting old, man. It's getting late. I'm trying to get to bed. Like, come on.
Yeah,
the first round.
I definitely fell asleep after the Patriots pick.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying.
We were on the line, bro.
I was good the whole way. I was straight. I didn't sleep, or feel sleepy or tired at all. I was straight. Listen, I was up and wide awake the whole time.
I was in sleep.
Speak for yourselves on that.
I was in sleep, but the draft started at 8 o'clock. There's no reason the draft should be ending at midnight or after midnight. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's how long it's televised for, John.
No, I know.
Blocked off that time.
It's crazy. And
like, they want to use up every single minute of that time to do draft coverage.
And to get that money. That's what it
Absolutely,
is.
To get to the bags. Yep, definitely.
For sure. But let's talk about some of the draft picks though. I mean, so the draft went like this. The first few picks, Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, picked Trevor Lawrence, QB out of Clemson. The New York Jets picked Zach Wilson, a QB out of BYU. San Francisco, which was, I think everybody's surprised, right? Because they've been talking about Mac Jones for the last, 2 months, it feels like. And they went out and they picked up Trey Lance from Nebraska State University. Is that where he's from? NDSU?
No, I think it's North Dakota. I think he went to the same school as Carson Wentz.
It's the abbreviation there, so I'm like, is that Nebraska? Wait.
That's North Dakota.
That should be NB. Stupid. Atlanta Falcons
I know.
chose Kyle Pitts out of Florida. I thought that was a really good pick. But let's go back to the Trey Lance one. All right, this thing's been beat up in our heads that they're gonna pick Mac Jones, right? Like, what was your reaction?
So, John? I don't think they revealed that. I don't agree with that.
No. They've been projecting Mac Jones to go number 3. So we were all surprised because they picked Trey Lance, because we all thought it was gonna be like Mac Jones or Justin Fields.
But it wasn't a given though. It
wasn't. What I'm saying is, every outlet was projecting Mac Jones to go number 3. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And when they picked Trey Lance, what was your reaction? And how'd you feel about it?
I wasn't too surprised. I mean, to me, I don't pay too much attention to the mock drafts. I usually just know who's gonna go first, second, maybe, and who's gonna go top 10. But I just knew it's the draft. To me, it's a crapshoot. You know what I mean? So there's very few quarterbacks that are sure. You know what I mean? So I think every team, if you need a quarterback and you have the opportunity to grab a quarterback, you're gonna try to grab one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If we go back to the Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota draft, both of those guys are not starting in the league anymore. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like your guys are going to be hyped up. Teams are going to feel hopeful. They're going to pick a quarterback. So to me, I was like, okay, that's what they liked. I wasn't even I wasn't aware that they wanted to pick Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit surprised by the pick, but not too surprised, because the more that I thought about it, the more that was thinking that they were actually going to go with, Trey Lance than, Mac Jones, because they traded, all the way from 12 until 3, and I think, when you make that move, you want to, get a guy that you're, 100% sure about, and that you really, and that's someone that you really want. And I think that they wanted, sure? I think they, they've always really been interested more in Trey Lance than.
Are they 100% sure though?
Because yes, I was listening to John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan speak, and the way they were speaking about Trey Lance, when they drafted him, they were, speaking as if that was their guy the whole time, as if that was the one that they wanted to draft and wanted to get, pretty much ever since they saw him at his pro day and, and connected, with him, on the Zoom calls and stuff. So I think that's, it was secretly hidden because those were the only 2 guys that knew that, the 49ers were going to draft, Trey Lance. But I think in the end, the 49ers got, moved up to get their guy. And, and when you trade up from 12 to 3, you got to know who you're picking and have an idea of, the person that you want. You got to be pretty sure, who, what I'm saying, you're moving up to get. You don't just make that move just to make it. You know what I'm saying? You got to, know what you're doing and know who you're picking, with that pick. And I think the 49ers, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, man. I definitely was surprised because I do pay attention to the mock drafts, and I do pay attention to what the coaches and what they're saying in their press conferences. And, for me, it looked like, the San Francisco 49ers were going to pick Mac Jones at number 3, because of everything that was going around with Jimmy Garoppolo, how what's his name? Kyle Shanahan, how unsure he was during the press conferences. They asked that guy, is Garoppolo gonna be the starter, starting the season? And he's like, people could die on Sunday. I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm like, guaranteed to be here on Sunday, right?
Wait, did you just say Garoppolo could die on Sunday? Like you can't predict that? Like that shit was funny to me.
We're not predicted to be here until Sunday, right? That was an absurd answer. That was ridiculous.
That was really weird. And every analyst in the draft was talking about how Mac Jones was the most pro-ready quarterback right now. How he had the smarts, how, if you look at all the quarterbacks that Kyle Shanahan has had in his systems, they're pretty much like, Mac Jones, so that I feel like that's why the draft analysts, what's his name, Mel Kiper, Mike Mayock, and all that.
Todd McShay, all those guys.
They had him at like number 3, even though they were making arguments that Justin Fields was like the second best quarterback. They all made arguments why Mac Jones would be picked at number 3. So it was pretty convincing. So I definitely was like anxious for number 3. I'm like, yo, let's see if they mess this shit up, yo. Because I'm like, dude, are you really gonna pick Mac Jones right here? That's crazy to me. And I mean, when they picked Trey Lance, I thought he was like the 3rd likeliest. I thought it was gonna be between Mac Jones or Justin Fields, and it ended up being Trey Lance. So I was like, holy shit. And the draft got exciting after that.
Yeah, that's when it started. It
really got exciting after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people just started sliding down the board. And it was kind of like a race, because we're in New England. We're looking at pick 15, and we still got 2 top 5 QBs on the board. So you're like, yo, we could really get like Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? And then things happened in the draft, but it definitely got exciting after that, and I was excited. So that was for number 3, Trey Lance goes to 49ers, and then Falcons picked Kyle Pitts, another team I thought could have picked a quarterback. But I thought they did the right thing by bringing in Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. That pick taking Kyle Pitts at 4 with the Falcons.
Why not?
I didn't like that. I just thought they had bigger and more important needs on their roster than tight end. Like, yeah, Kyle Pitts is a great player, and it's gonna definitely help them and contribute. But I think there's much more important,
you thought they should have went cornerback,
that 4th pick.
You thought they should have went cornerback, huh?
Either defense or or even get a quarterback, or even what I'm saying, show up that offensive line, since we're having issues with the offensive line. Like, there's multiple directions they could have gone that then at tight end, and taking a tight end at 4, I feel like it's just too high, particularly when you have a weak roster like the Falcons do. It's not a very good team, and there's a lot of things that they should have done that could have helped their team more than get a tight end, even though Kyle Pitts will help them. But I just don't really know how much it'll be.
I agree with Barry. That's the first pick that actually surprised me. When I heard Kyle Pitts tight end, I was like, tight end number 4?
Right.
That's like, if I'm picking a tight end number 4, you better be Rob Gronkowski too. Like, you better be
for real.
Like, you better be like, I remember the last time I remember a team picked a tight end was Detroit drafting Eric Ebron. They drafted him 10th pick, I believe, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know how Eric Ebron turned out. And he was supposed to be this great tight end. He was going to change the game. And we don't even know what team Eric Ebron plays on now. He plays for the Green Bay
Colts.
Something.
Oh, he's on the
Steelers now.
Yeah, he was with the Colts.
That's like he's fifth team or something. Like, this dude, he can even catch. Yep. I'm not saying that's what Kyle Pitts is going to turn out. I'm just saying, like, drafting a tight end that high, like, you better change my organization. You better change the way we do things.
Change the culture, yeah.
And also, we've seen what the Falcons need. It's defense. They were winning. Exactly. They were winning against the Bucs 21-0 during the last season, and they lost that game 30-28 or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And tight end, are you kidding me? The Falcons will suck forever. Like,
the Falcons always be the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, they had one chance of winning the Super Bowl.
They have a good offense, and then that's about it.
They had a chance of winning a Super Bowl. They fucked it up, and I don't think they'll ever
recover from that. For real, straight up.
Okay.
That was like my most surprising pick. Seriously, like, I was
me too. That's one of the
I was like, what?
Few picks I didn't like in this draft.
I know Kyle Pitts is regarded as one of the top
generational talent. They say.
Yeah,
no, I like the player. I just don't like the pick. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, I know, with all due respect to Kyle Pitts, he can ball. I'm not saying he can't ball.
Sure.
Yeah.
He can definitely ball, man. So that was the number 4 pick for Atlanta. And then Cincinnati went Jamar Chase, which I thought was surprising as well, because Joe Burrow got folded up last year. So I'm like, y'all gotta
tackle.
Fix the line, bro.
For real, seriously.
I'm like, what? Why would you do that?
Block.
I mean, I get why they did that, because that's Joe Burrow's former teammates. But your receivers are not terrible. You know what I'm saying?
If I'm putting a team together, offensive line and defensive line, I'm drafting those all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In the first round. You know what I mean? Those are for sure talents. Like, offensive lines, Aflazo probably have the highest success rate as first rounders. Rounders. Like, you draft an offensive line in the first round, unless you get injured or something, like,
most of the time they work out.
He's gonna ball for you, and those are an important part of my team. So yeah, I mean, it's Cincinnati.
So that's what they do. Yeah.
So I wasn't too surprised, but maybe it'll work for them.
I hope so.
I'd like the pick, but you're right. Definitely, they should have gone offensive line. I will agree with that. But for sure, because you're right. That can't. What happened to Joe Burrow last year? That can't happen again. Like, they need to protect the franchise and find some dudes on the offensive line that can actually, keep this man healthy.
I mean, and then so that was the number 5 pick, Jamar Chase, who should be a stud in the league. If they can keep
he'll be nice.
Joe Burrow up and clean, because they need to do that. And then for the last 4 picks, Miami picked Jalen Waddle from Alabama. Bring Tua back with his old receiver. And then Detroit went in there and did really good things with Penei Sewell, who was supposed to be the top offensive tackle out of Oregon. That was good. Carolina, who I thought were going to pick a quarterback, picked cornerback J.C. Horn, who's also nasty.
He's nice.
I thought that was the right pick for them.
No, for sure. They definitely need some players in the secondary that can make plays, for sure.
Right.
So I like that pick, and I like the Lions pick too. I was surprised they made a good draft pick for once. They got
new leadership right now.
Damn time.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
Yeah, for sure.
Denver went cornerback Patrick Surtain, which was good as well. The second, Patrick Surtain, the second, and then finally to round out the top 10, the Heisman Trophy winner Devonta Smith went to the Eagles. So they got like their Deshaun Jackson 2.0 or something like that.
Well, that was one of the.
Okay, go ahead, Vlad.
That was one of the highlights of the draft for me. The Eagles screwing over the Giants.
The Cowboys that they.
No, they screwed over the Giants.
The Giants, because they moved up ahead of the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants wanted to pick that guy, and they moved ahead. They dealt with somebody in their conference, which is the Cowboys, to fucked over the Giants. I think the Eagles have something against the Giants. I think the owner. I think the owner has something against the Giants, and I think that's why they lost that last game last year. When they benched Jalen Hurts. I think that's why they fucked them over in the draft a couple of days ago. I thought that was crazy. When I heard the Giants wanted to pick that player, but the Eagles jumped over them to pick that player, I was like, damn, petty on another level.
I love it.
I'm not surprised, because that's typical NFC least right there, to say the least. That's what they do in that division. They always do petty stuff and always do things to stab each other in the back and to get revenge and make the other one look bad. So I wasn't surprised.
But you wouldn't think they would do it with like another NFC East player team. You know what I mean? You thought they would do it with like another team in the conference. Like they treated the Cowboys to fucked over somebody else in the conference.
Right. No, I see what you're saying. No, I hear that.
Yeah.
Just something else that I was a bit surprised with, with those top 10 picks was I thought that Justin Fields was going to go in the top 10. Once he got past the Denver Broncos at 9, I thought the Broncos were probably going to take him and pick him up, since they were still saying that, they were still looking at quarterbacks, even though they made a trade for a veteran quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater that week. Once he went to 9, I'm like, somebody's gonna trade up to get him and to pick him up. I just had that gut feeling, and that's exactly what had happened. So, I was hoping he would come here to us to the Pats, but unfortunately that didn't happen. And he's in Chicago now, so I mean that's good for the Bears that they were able to get him. But I still have questions as far as whether they'll do right by him and actually be able to, develop him and, into a good quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious about the Justin Fields situation, with Matt Nagy over there and how they did Mitch Trubisky last year. And, the way they've been handling things, they told Andy Dalton he'd be the number one, and then boom. Yeah.
Does it not make you laugh every time you hear that?
We were just
that they
joking.
Really said that to Andy Dalton, he'll be the QB1 this year?
Yeah, we were just joking, Andy. We had to say this for the draft, you know what I'm saying? So, I hope they're ready to actually develop him,
right.
And make sure that he's actually a successful pro, because it looks like Yo, they were throwing Mitch Trubisky under the bus all year, man. You know,
absolutely. They set him up for failure.
I can't stress that enough,
right.
man. They set that boy up for failure, and he actually, you know, he rose above it and actually did well, and they still like released him, or you know,
I don't know if he did well.
I mean,
he led them to the playoffs,
man.
Right. They got into the postseason.
Here's what happened: Trubisky led them to 2-0 start. They benched him after 2-0 start and put Nick Foles in there. Nick Folk, right? What's
Nick Foles?
Nick Foles, right? Yeah. They put him in there. Mm-hmm. All right. They start doing bad. He gets injured like usual. They bring Mitch Trubisky back in there. He turns the season around and takes them to the playoffs. So like and they still like.
I think it's the back on the defense. I don't think it's on the back of Trubisky though.
No, if you look at the games, man, he was actually doing work, man. Because I had him on a fantasy.
He was doing his thing.
You know I mean, at the end there, like he was putting up numbers at the end there, and I'm like, he's actually responding, you know. And I feel like there's a lot you could work with there because he's a big kid, you know. He got a strong arm, you know, like kind of like Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Josh Allen was pretty much the same thing, and then he went to the Bills in a place that actually developed him and helped him out, and he's an MVP caliber player now. You know, I feel like
did they release him or did they trade him?
No, he was a free agent.
He was a free agent. They decided not to.
Yeah,
bring
they didn't
him back.
re-sign him. They didn't make any offers.
And that's my point. And I made that point before on the pod. Somebody that's a free agent that's deciding to sign as a backup on a team that he knows he's going to be a backup on, I can't have that guy as my quarterback. There's way too many teams out there that needed a starting quarterback. And if you sign with a team that you know you're going to be a backup, like that means you're willing to be a backup, I just can't have you as my starting quarterback.
And I think that's the issue because they screwed up his reputation so bad over there, you know, with the shit that was coming out. You know, and the way they treated him. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think he had any other opportunities to go somewhere else and be a starter.
I'm sure if a team is giving if a team is giving opportunities, if a team needs a quarterback and that guy's out there, you're gonna see what he's like, and he's going to somewhere where he has no chance of starting at all. I think like when is he gonna start over there?
I think the life of a quarterback is sophisticated.
But he's never gonna start. Like even like I'm sure there's a team out there where like if somebody sucked, I might start. Like you go to the Bills where there's no chance for you to start. Like the only way you start is Josh Allen get injured.
I think I said this on the channel before. I think that he did something that was good for him in his career, where he's going to go somewhere and actually be able to learn from people that want to actually nurture shit. You know what I mean?
You made that point before.
It's a really bad reputation when the team that drafted you badmouths you and doesn't, you know what I mean, decide to do good by you. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit that they did to him, I don't see the Patriots doing that to Jarrett Stidham. And Jarrett Stidham sucks. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's like
he's garbage.
Like, but you heard Robert Kraft like, I don't think Jarrett Stidham got a fair shot, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're all like,
exactly.
You know, like, and you have a first-round quarterback you just picked, like, 4 years ago? And you made the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just think when you do that, like, you mess up a quarterback's reputation, other teams are, like, kind of shy away from bringing you in as the starter. You know what I mean? And you have to do something to reset. It's kind of like Jameis Winston. You know what I mean? That he had to go to like Drew Brees to figure out, like, find out how things are working.
Good position of
you know what I mean?
Right.
Go somewhere that's gonna nurture you and actually teach you something and have your back type of stuff. And I don't think the Bears had Mr. Trubisky's back at all. And I hope they don't do that to Justin Fields because like he's not coming in like the most polished quarterback. So you have to actually teach him and nurture what's happening. You know, what happens if he starts 0-3 for the Bears? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to start bad-mouthing him then. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He goes in for Andy Dalton. He doesn't, like, light it up. Then it's going to be a problem because, you know, same thing's gonna start happening. So I
hope, right, John, and that's why they better get this Justin Fields pick right. Mm-hmm. Because if they don't, not only should Matt Nagy be gone and out of Chicago, but that GM Ryan Pace has to go too and should be fired as well. They're both this year, their jobs are on the line. Listen. So they better get this Justin Fields right and make sure that they get this guy ready to play and ready to make that franchise successful and turn that around. Because Chicago's been known for a place where even Jim McMahon said that quarterback who won a Super Bowl with the Chicago Bears, that quarterbacks go there to die. That's the funeral for quarterbacks right there. That, listen, you know, anytime a quarterback goes there, they're not successful and they become garbage and a bum. So they better get their act together and make sure that they get this guy ready to play, because they should not get another NFL job and be out the door if they do the same thing with Mitch Trubisky than they just did with Justin Fields.
What you just said right there is correct. You know, with Matt Nagy getting fired out of there. If they don't make the playoffs last year, that dude's fired. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So basically,
Absolutely.
Mitch Trubisky saved your ass, saved your job, and now he gets to sign somewhere else as a backup. And then you get to go in and pick somebody else. You know what I mean?
Year.
Like,
right.
It makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
I don't think the organization was in love with him. So if the organization is not in love with Mitch Trubisky, they're gonna keep the coach. But I agree. I think if Justin Fields doesn't turn out great and they don't give him the fair chance, I do think those guys should be fired. But yeah, I mean, Chicago hasn't had a franchise quarterback almost ever. Like, they've never really had like a franchise quarterback, somebody that's like there for a long time, that's winning multiple games, multiple seasons. It's just they've never had that. So I do hope that they get this one right in Fields.
For sure, absolutely.
For sure, man.
They need to, because that organization and their future is depending on it, for sure.
I mean, I'm glad he's getting to go somewhere where he can actually start year one. You know what I mean? And learn.
Yeah, me too. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
There.
You don't think the Red Rooster is gonna get him out of there?
Oh man, that's a good one, Vlad. That's a good one. Oh man, you got jokes, man.
You mean the Red Rocket?
The Red Rooster, the Red Rocket.
Right, like
yo,
Rooster. Like,
I'm sitting here like, who's a Red Rooster?
Like what? Like, why would they nickname a quarterback a Rooster?
Nah, he's just being funny. Okay, all right. I catch on now. That's hilarious.
Oh man, shoot. Vlad came back with jokes today.
With that being said, you know, I feel like a lot of teams felt like they actually got away from the first round with a guy that they actually wanted and liked. You know, there was some trades, some really good stuff happened. But in your all opinion, give me like one winner and one loser in this draft.
It's hard to say just because, you know, the draft is so volatile and, you know, so many things can happen. But definitely my loser is going to be the Atlanta Falcons with that pick. I'm not saying he's not going to be a great player. He might be a generational player just like Julio Jones is. Mm-hmm. But you need somebody like that. Guy alone is not going to bring you to where you need to be. There's so much more that needed to be done. Mm-hmm. So to me, I'm just not.
Would you have packaged that number 4 pick, you know, to get like maybe 2 more picks in the first round?
Maybe. Shit. Like,
they could have done that.
Yeah.
They could have done that.
Right. That would actually have been a good move.
Unless there's a for sure offensive line player that I wanted to take or a defensive line player that I wanted to take for sure. If I wasn't sure, then I would definitely have packaged that pick and be like, yeah, you know what? Somebody else that's already established that needs a good tight end can pick that up. You know what I mean? I don't need a good tight end right now, so I'm just gonna chill and not pick that up. You know what I mean? So that's what I would have done. So my loser is Atlanta Falcons. My winner is My winner is it's hard to say, but I think I'm gonna pick San Francisco. I think they got a quarterback, and you know they traded so high for him, and they got a quarterback, and they better make sure that it works. You know what I mean? So it's like if you drafted so high to get a quarterback and bring somebody in, it better be the guy that's really gonna take your franchise forward. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm gonna go with that same boat. I'm gonna start with my loser and then go on to my winner of the draft. So the loser for this draft that I had would be the Green Bay Packers. And that's because the exact. Oh yeah, I'm glad y'all like that one too. Yes. Oh yeah. You know I'm about to go in right now and do my thing. So the reason why I have the Green Bay Packers is the loser is because yet again they draft a defensive player for the 9th time out of the last 10 drafts. The only time they took an offensive player in the draft was last year when they drafted Jordan Love to be the so-called successor and replacement to Aaron Rodgers. They have not drafted and gotten any sort of talent and weapons and playmakers for Aaron Rodgers to work with in the first round for the last 10 years. And it's getting ridiculous that the way that they're treating this man, we're going to get to him later. I'm not going to say too much about it. That they keep drafting defensive players, and these guys turn out to be in busts, and they're not even good. They're not even worthy of the first, round pick, and and don't end up contributing, making an impact that a first round, player should make. So I don't really know what's going on with that organization, and why they're not getting more offensive talent and and weapons to be able to surround their quarterback.
You know what it is?
And what's that, John?
They don't have a team owner.
That's right, because the fans own them.
The fans own the team.
Yeah, but that's not why.
That's the problem.
No,
that's not why
you have an owner,
it's one of the problems.
It's one of them. Because if you have an owner, they have a voice to tell you this is the direction I want the team to go.
I agree with you.
You have a GM that does whatever they feel they want.
I agree with you, but the Green Bay Packers have been one of the best teams in the NFL for since the NFL has been created. Like they've always had good quarterback. They've always been competitive. I don't think I've seen a losing season for the Green Bay Packers since I've started watching football. So to me, they're one of the best organizations ever. And I understand not having an owner doesn't push you enough, but I don't think that's why they haven't win a Super Bowl. I just think some of the decisions they made in games have cost them games. Like if you take, for example, they were in the NFC Championship against the Seattle Seahawks. Let that go. You know what I mean? Against the Bucks last year, they made a couple of dumb decisions to let that go. Like, they've always been, like, one of the best teams. So I just think it's some of the coaching decisions, and not drafting a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers is another problem.
Right, like I was saying. Right.
But I just don't think not having an owner is why they haven't made those decisions. It's just they just haven't been coached the best to make to the Super Bowl or win another one.
No, I absolutely agree with that. And they did finally this year draft a receiver, Amari Rodgers from Clemson, but they should have taken a receiver a lot sooner and not waited until they, when they did to draft Amari Rodgers. Like, I don't know what they were taking so long to draft a receiver for. Like, that's a clear-cut, glaring need for the Green Bay Packers, just like it was for the Patriots that they needed a quarterback. Like, I don't understand why they didn't draft a receiver or, offensive, playmaker in the first round. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I'm going to go in later on the Green Bay Packers as well, and later in the show, so I'm not done with them. But getting to my winner.
When are we discussing the Green Bay Packers again?
It has more to do with the Aaron Rodgers situation, but I don't want to talk about too much about the Aaron Rodgers situation because we haven't gotten to that yet. But that's why I'm going to leave the rest for when we get to that point of the podcast. So now getting to my winner of the draft. I think it'd be the New York Jets. I like what the New York Jets
That's
did.
my winner.
Oh, man. I guess, two great minds think alike, right?
Damn. All right, go ahead.
That's fine. I know I keep doing that to you, John, every time, man. But I'll get to why I had them to win. I mean, we all knew that they were going to take Zach Wilson in the first round.
It's what they did after.
That was a given. But I also liked what they did when they traded up at 14 to get an offensive tackle that is one of the best offensive tackles in the draft and that can protect the franchise and, in their quarterback in Zach Wilson. So, and that's a great move that they're able to trade with the Vikings to do that. And they certainly did a good job of not only getting their quarterback for the future, but also an offensive tackle that's going to be there for the future as well and make sure the quarterback is well protected. And not only that, but I also like the Elijah Moore pick in the second round. That was a receiver I wanted the Pats to draft. And I thought Elijah Moore was even going to go at the end of the first round. I was surprised he fell to the second round. And they, Jets ended up picking him up at the beginning of the second round. So, I definitely liked what, with that pick as well and what the Jets did in the draft this year.
For sure. No, I like that pick for the winner for sure, man. And that was gonna be my pick, and not only.
Sorry, I stole yours, John. Sorry,
right.
Bro.
No, I definitely agree with you. Picking Zach Wilson and then immediately getting back in the draft. They actually traded back into the 14th spot to take the offensive line player, and I thought that was really good. So it looked like they got the quarterback and then they set him up for success, at the same time. And then after that, they went into the defense and stuff like that. But my loser for the first round has to be a team that wasn't in the first round at all, and that's the Texans.
That's good.
That's a good one. I like that one, John.
Because that's
a good loser. I think you have the best loser in the draft out of all of us.
That team traded its future for like 10 years.
So,
for real.
They've screwed up. They've screwed up everything so bad they did not have a first round pick this year. And I don't know what their positions next year is going to be either, because
I'm sure they don't have one next year either. I wouldn't be surprised.
And then they had to pick a quarterback, right? I think Mills, something like that.
Was that in the second round or the third round?
That was something like either second or third round, man.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I don't remember, but clearly they're bottom feeders, man. And they are definitely the biggest loser. And, with everything that's going on surrounding the team and everything like that, I think they're definitely the clear-cut losers.
That's a bad team.
Bad team, bad organization.
Yeah.
Bad organization, bad management, like everything. Bad scouts, like, geez.
Yeah.
That team's a lot. That's the new laughing stock of the NFL right there, the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
An absolute joke.
And
that franchise is.
Since Barry took the winner that I picked, I'm going to pick another one, and that's going to be the Patriots, man. Because I feel like they went in there with a mission, and it was mission accomplished. You know what I'm saying? From Mac Jones, because clearly we needed a quarterback. And then Bill Belichick worked on the defensive line pretty much like the rest of the draft, man. And the team is set up for now and the future. So I thought they went in there with a purpose, and it was a year that Bill Belichick actually listened to people and was making the right picks. I thought we should have definitely.
He was listening though, or he was still making the decisions and still doing what he wanted to do. You really sure about that?
I mean, I felt like, he went out for needs, and then he picked some guys that were like really highly ranked, and he went back to what he knows, which is the defense. Went back with the defensive line. I thought, he should have picked a receiver, but I think he learned that he sucks at picking wide receivers, so he didn't pick any until like the seventh round. Don't take one if
you're not good at that, right?
Like, and I'm not mad at that.
Just don't take it, right?
Well, we already knew that he went after receivers in the offseason,
in the free agents,
yes. Mm-hmm. And that's why, because he cannot pick receivers. So I would have been highly upset if he picked a receiver. No.
Well, because most likely they would have turned out to be trash.
Even if it was, even if it's a good receiver, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
sure, even like one of the top receivers in this draft, you still wouldn't have been happy with that.
I still don't trust Bill, but I still don't trust the Patriots to get that receiver in the right spot to succeed.
Right, and that they can develop him.
Honestly, honestly, I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, they need to get some of these scouts from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Belichick needs to get some of them to come over to New England.
Yeah, I love
because those guys know how to develop and pick out wide receiver talent.
Right, tell Bill, send the camera to Pittsburgh and
them cameras are going to the wrong places.
Don't go to the Bengals. Like, what the fuck?
Right. Like, what are they gonna do for you? Like, what do you get out of that? Exactly.
You go to Philly and go to Cincinnati? Like, go to Pittsburgh.
Exactly. Right. That's where you need to be.
Send the camera crew over there, man. Find out what they're doing over there, man.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And we'll get into the Patriots draft in a minute, but some more NFL news, man. The NFL schedule is going to be released on May 12th, so that's maybe a couple weeks out now.
Ooh,
so
can't wait. Looking forward to that.
We'll see what teams are facing who's going to see who, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A name we haven't heard in the NFL for a really long time, and I feel like this news is so stupid because every analyst was telling this guy, yo, you need to change positions, and he was just so stubborn. He's like, I'm just leaving football altogether if I can't do this. Tim Tebow is in contact with the Jaguars to sign as a tight end.
What?
The guy hasn't played since 2012.
Well, they worked him out.
Almost 10 years. Wow.
They worked him out as a tight end. I don't know if they're gonna sign him though.
Right, but the fact that you're in, the fact that you're even trying out as a tight end baffles me because you could have did this shit like 10 years ago.
For real. Like too little, too late for that, bro. Like, exactly. Like, where was you at 10 years ago when you were shitting the bed at quarterback and couldn't throw to save your life and couldn't keep a QB job? Like, if you really wanted to be in the NFL and weren't serious about having a successful career in the NFL, you would have known to change your position then. Like,
he got mad.
You want to change your position when you're a lot older and past your prime, and
you're definitely past your prime.
Right.
You got mad and went to play for the Mets, and you never got in the damn game. Like,
and didn't even make the big league team. He was on the AAA and AA team. He didn't even make it to the big leagues.
You already made it in the NFL. Now you just wasted like 10 years trying out for baseball, and you never even made it there. So now you're back in the NFL asking for another position, like when everybody was. Anyway, man, enough for...
Like, bro, just stick to being a college football analyst honestly. Man. Right. Like, you're doing well with that. Just stay with that, man. Like that's working out for you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it and try to do something else that's not going to work for and you're not going to be good at. Like,
he's trying to get a movie deal. Football. He's trying to get a movie deal. The Curious Story of Tim Tebow. Like, dude...
That's why he's trying to get back in the NFL.
For real, you know, he probably has a documentary coming out. You know how Tim Tebow.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
The Bucks re-signed Antonio Brown finally. You know, he's a guy. I think it's amazing. You know, from like 2 years ago to now, how Antonio Brown's story is just like went from like forefront of the league to like he gets signed and nobody's really even talking about it anymore. You know what I mean? Just like last year, the last year he was with the Patriots, media shitstorm, and now it's like Super Bowl champion, re-signed, nobody's talking about Antonio Brown at all.
Well, you wanted them to be talking about him?
No, I just feel like, you know, how quickly things change. What happened to all that narrative about Antonio Brown?
Well, I think they're still there. I just think I actually think that's one of the reasons why he probably didn't sign with another team. I mean, if you think about it, $3.5 million for Antonio Brown, it's not a lot of money for a player
as
like
dirt
Antonio Brown. So I think actually those narratives are still there. I think probably for him is some of those things you were accused of, maybe they got swept under the rug. Maybe he got off some of those charges, you know what I mean? But $3.5 million, I mean, if Antonio Brown was clean, he can get $10 million anywhere.
Oh, easily. Absolutely. Yeah. No, for sure. No, this is what I was trying to say to y'all a few weeks ago, that, yeah, he wasn't going to go anywhere. He was going to stay put and go back to Tampa and go back to be with this boy TB12. You know, with the Bucks, like, you know, that's his man's right there. He wasn't going to leave. So, you know, I knew for sure that, you know, they were going to come to a contract agreement at some point. And, you know, and for sure those, you know, like you said, Vlad, those reasons were pretty much why he didn't get really any contract offers. I thought maybe the Ravens would have given him an offer, but I guess it wasn't good enough for him. And, you know, he didn't want to go there. So I think, you know, he definitely went to the right place, you know, where he belongs and where that can, you know, utilize him, you know, the best, you know, in Tampa Bay.
I'm sure he maybe got a better contract than the Tampa Bay one, but I bet you it wasn't that much better for him to not sign back with, you know, the team he won a Super Bowl with and with Tom Brady. Whatever he got probably just was like $5 million, $6 million, and he was just like, you know what? I would have signed with the team I already know. Tom is already here. When y'all want to give me more money, I'll sign somewhere else.
Listen, I thought the Ravens should have moved on Antonio Brown, man. You know, with their receiving situation, bringing in Sammy Watkins. Now, they did draft a guy, but Antonio Brown's already a proven guy. You got his cousin on the team. You know what I'm saying? You got John Harbaugh, who's a.
Oh, that's his cousin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that either.
Hollywood Brown is his cousin. Marquise Brown is his cousin. Yeah. They literally trained together.
I had no idea, John. I did not know.
Yes.
Wow.
So I posted.
That explains why they drafted him. He must have put in the work for him. Hollywood
Remember
Brown.
the video I posted on Profins_Sports? He was working out with Lamar Jackson. The second guy was Marquise Brown, his cousin. You know what I mean? They were in the same facilities working out together. So I'm like, the Ravens should have made a move because Antonio Brown, he's still a bad man on the field, yo. You know, and
absolutely,
he caught the winning touchdown for the Super Bowl.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he got a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Listen,
right.
Tom Brady got you a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like you can move on wherever you want. You know what I mean? You're back in the league now. If I don't know, that's just my opinion.
Like I said, I think
they might have not given him a contract. I feel you. You know what I mean?
A good contract.
I think that it would be stupid to not give. Well, no, I shouldn't say stupid. I feel like that's a little strong because Antonio Brown has had some issues, you know. But at the same time, I thought for the team's sake, your quarterback has been working out with this dude for the last 2 years because the year prior, Lamar Jackson was working with him too, you know. And then again this offseason, you still like don't take a flyer, you know what I mean? So, hey, congrats to him, man. He's back on the Super Bowl champs, and I'm sure he's gonna do well again. You know, and maybe this time he does even better because he's going to be in there for 2 years now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I thought another team that could have used him and could have picked him up is Seattle, is the Seahawks as well. I think, you know, they definitely could use another receiver and some more, depth at that position. And, and then a talent like that. So,
yeah. What about the Packers?
Bingo! You hit bingo, John.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
there you go, right?
You got
you hit the nail on the head right there. That would have definitely made Aaron Rodgers a lot more happier if you had, picked him up and got, signed him to a contract. Like, I don't know why they didn't do that. That's the team that needed Antonio Brown the most, and that should have picked him up, and brought him, to Green Bay. Like, I am baffled and blown away that they didn't do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like,
for sure.
Wow. You hit that right on the money, John.
Teddy Bridgewater was traded to the Broncos for a 6th-round pick. That guy's just being ragdolled around the league. They're not really giving him I like Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know why they keep trading him around and not giving him, like, some time to actually be in the offense and do some things, But
no, I agree.
It sucks he had that injury in Minnesota, man, and
right. That set his career so much back. Right.
Yeah,
but I thought he, resurrected it and and kind of got it back going when he played well with the Saints and went 5-0. I thought there was a team that was actually going to give him a fair opportunity to be starting quarterback in the NFL, and unfortunately he hasn't found that. So hopefully, Denver can give him that opportunity and let him, compete for the starting job. And if he does win it, which I'm sure he will be the starter for some time, give him enough time to actually be the guy there.
Right. If he can't beat Drew Luck for that for that spot, then he probably.
Then he shouldn't be in the NFL. Exactly.
You shouldn't be a starter if you can't beat out Drew Lock.
That's true
For that quarterback position, right?
Absolutely. There. No. For the big facts.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, Aaron Rodgers says that he will not return to the Packers if GM Brian Gutekunst is not fired. So he doesn't want to come back if that guy is not fired, which is kind of wild to me.
Yeah, that was the best news on draft day. Like, I was like,
the biggest,
the best. I was like, what? Like, there about to be some fireworks tonight. I was excited. Like, I was like, yo, trading. Anytime you're trading such a high profile athlete, like, that's like big fireworks. So, Well, I was reading something yesterday that said that Aaron Rodgers is actually pretty upset that the news got out. He didn't want the news to get out. But I don't know, man. I'm not buying it yet. I mean, I know he said that, but I don't know. I'm not buying him leaving the Green Bay Packers.
Well, he's still under contract, so how can you just leave?
Yeah, but I mean, no. The way you leave is I'm not playing.
Like, demand the trade, right?
Pull a Carson Palmer?
Well, pull a Deshaun Watson if you want to call it that.
No, don't pull a Deshaun Watson.
Definitely not. Absolutely not. No way.
No way.
Hell no. Right. Please don't do it. Right. You don't need another quarterback doing that. Right. One's already enough. Oh man!
But yeah,
but before all that,
before the scandal came out,
just say I'm not playing. You know what I mean? So if he says I'm not playing, and they're gonna have to trade him, you know what I mean? So that I'm excited to see what happens with that. I mean, if it really happens that he forces their hands to trade him, that'd be kind of sweet. I can't wait to see what that looks like. Because imagine where he could end up. Like, wherever he ends up automatically becomes a playoff contender.
Would you say even Super Bowl contender or just playoff contender?
No. Playoff At least contender. Playoff.
I said what I said. Playoff contender. Nah, he's not Tom Brady.
Right. Plus, he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it where he's at now, so we can't say that he's.
Well, he's done it once, but that's it.
Well, yeah, one time, but ever since then, it's been, So,
no,
I mean,
for sure. And remember, I told you I wasn't done with the Green Bay Packers, and I told you I wasn't done going in on on that team. So with Aaron Rodgers, I completely agree and understand with how he feels and as disgruntled and as frustrated as he's feeling right now, and that he doesn't want to go back to the Green Bay Packers. Like, I wouldn't want to go back either. Like that, you know, that GM is just, he's garbage. He sucks. Like this guy, in 12 years, his best 3 receivers that he's gotten are Devontae Adams, which is a pretty good receiver. Y'all give him that. But then Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, and that's it. In 12 years, that's all you've given Aaron Rodgers? Like, are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing?
Whoa.
Like, why aren't you giving this man more to work with? And why are you treating this man just like another guy on the team? Like, just like any other quarterback, or that he's just a number. Like it's absolutely asinine and absurd that the GM still has a job in the NFL when, if it were a black GM or another GM that had that position that did that same thing, you can't sit here and tell me that they'd still be having a job 12 years after doing that. Like, they would have been long gone years ago. Like, they would have been out of here.
They don't have a team owner.
Right, but they still should have given him more than that, and he still shouldn't be there with the lack of, you know, moves and the lack of getting talent for Aaron Rodgers. The fact that they haven't given him anything, I get they don't have an owner, but the bottom line is that guy has to go. And I like Aaron Rodgers saying, I'm not going back there unless if he goes, because it's either him or me. Like, if he's staying there, I'm out of there. If he goes, then I'll come back, because this guy does not deserve to be an NFL GM with as pathetic as he's been with that team and not giving Aaron Rodgers what he deserves and being able to get a second Super Bowl championship. Like, he could have had not a dynasty, but they could have had a Super Bowl run had they given Aaron Rodgers more help offensively than what they've given him. He could have at least 2-3 Super Bowls instead of just one, which was, 11, 12 years ago? Like, come on, man. Like, Aaron Rodgers, I'm with you, bro. Like, he needs to get out of there and go somewhere where he can win, and that's going to get him the talent that he needs to win a Super Bowl. Like, plain and simple.
Yeah, you know what? You sound like you know, the Patriots sports radio when they wasn't giving Tom Brady the weapons. What do you know? They don't have no weapons. They don't have no weapons. It's like Brady's never had weapons.
I understand where Barry's coming from, and I
do too.
I also think that Aaron Rodgers has his reasons to be mad at the Green Bay Packers, but I honestly don't think offensive weapons is why they haven't won another Super Bowl. I honestly don't think that. I think it's been coaching, to be honest.
Yep.
That's been a factor too.
I think it's been coaching because
they've kicking a field goal down 7.
Yeah, and also
4th.
They made the championship so many times. Against the Falcons, against the Seahawks, against the 49ers, against the Bucks. That's 4 NFC championship where those games, and they were playing well in those games, and they could have win those games, and they could have like better.
The 49ers game they got blown out, but the other 3 games I agree they were competitive in that game.
But each of those years they've won like 13, 14 games.
That's why I don't think it's offense, man. I think it's been coaching. I think it's been defense some years as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been drafting defense, and what have their defensive players been doing? What have they done? All those defensive players that they've drafted.
I don't know, but I also don't. I agree with you.
Not a damn thing.
I agree with you that the defense haven't been doing anything either, but I also don't like, because Aaron Rodgers is so skilled that you don't need to give him top
of the line
talent
offensive players
to succeed. I mean, I'm not saying he wouldn't have helped. It would have helped, but he's just so good that you don't need to give him that. But I think if they gave it to him, maybe they could have made it to at least another Super Bowl. But I also think it's been coaching. Like, it's been poor decisions on the coaching staff sometimes.
Right, Mark McCarthy was trash. I agree, and LaFleur is not having the best start either to his coaching career with the Packers.
Yeah, with letting the Bucs score right before the half.
Yeah, man.
And kicking that field goal.
Right. That field
that's
goal
what I'm saying, man.
Instead of going for it on foot, even though they didn't do anything on the first few plays. But come on, you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. Like, you got to put the ball in his hands when the game's on the line and let him make a play.
You know what? Aaron Rodgers should have bossed up in that game like he's trying to boss up now and say, give me the fucking ball. We're going to go. You know what I'm saying? That's what he should have done then. But I guess he's trying to boss up now that, you know, it's the off season and there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, our special guest that we wanted to have on will not be able to make it in because, you know, he's dealing with some stuff right now. But we're going to go into the Patriots draft. On to the Patriots draft, men. So, you know, we saw the Patriots go in the draft. And they immediately addressed, you know, some of their biggest holes on the team, you know, as well as do some other things. So let me give you, you know, the breakdown of the draft picks that we had from round to round. So in round one, obviously we talked about it already. The Patriots picked Mac Jones, QB out of Alabama. In round two, they picked another Alabama guy in Christian Barmore. He's a defensive tackle. You know, that's going to come in on the line and try to plug things up there. We got Ronnie Perkins, who's an edge guy from Oklahoma. Ramondre Stevenson, who's a running back from Oklahoma. So he's a big guy, big dude. You know, Cameron McGrone, linebacker out of Michigan. Joshua Bledsoe is a safety out of Missouri. Will Sherman, an offensive tackle out of Colorado, and lastly, Trey Nixon, who's a wide receiver out of UCF in the 7th round. So, you know, the Patriots clearly addressed some needs there. How'd you guys feel about the Patriots draft? More notably, you know, Mac Jones. How you feel about that and the direction of the Patriots?
You know, like I mentioned earlier in the pod, this was one of the most integral drafts that the Patriots had in a long time, with a lot of weighing on it. I was really excited for the draft because the Patriots was going to decide the future in the draft. And also the anticipation of what Bill Belichick is going to do. Bill Belichick is one of those guys that if he has the first round pick, you still don't know what he's going to do. You know what I mean? Most years, you know what the first pick of the NFL is going to do. And you feel as though Bill Belichick is one of those guys that you never know what he's going to do. He might pick somebody from the gas station down the street. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you never know what this guy's going to do. So when the pick was coming, I was like, man, Mac Jones is on the board. Everybody's saying he should pick Mac Jones. I was like, I don't know if Belichick is going to do it. I really don't know if he's going to do it. Mm-hmm. So when I heard Mac Jones, I was like, wow, he actually did it. He picked the guy that you're supposed to pick at that spot. He picked the quarterback that he actually needs. He did it. Like, there was no playing chess or
7 seconds. Boom, pick is in.
Right. He didn't overthink it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I was really, really satisfied with the pick. I thought that was the right pick, picking Mac Jones, one of the top quarterback left in the first round. I'm not sure if they would have traded up if they needed to. I'm not sure if they just let him fall on their lap. I'm just glad that they picked him. And I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, he has one of the highest completion percentage in college football.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's big to us. Accuracy is really big to us. One
of the most accurate ever.
Yep. And so I didn't like his walk when he got picked.
Yo, I loved it.
This looked like he needed to go to the bathroom right away.
He was walking like Bill Belichick.
I loved it, man.
Nah, he looked like he needed to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know what was going on.
He looked like anything but a football player, man.
Yeah.
For real, right. Like, exactly. You can just look at him and be like, is this dude even a professional athlete? Like, is he, like, in good enough shape? And is he qualified to actually, like, play in the NFL? Like, just looking at him is like...
Walking like the damn principal, man. I'm like...
right, have you seen a weight room? Like, bro, what was you doing in Alabama? Like, we get you was completing all the passes, but, like, damn, they didn't give you any sort of weight or body training over there?
Yeah, also, the fact that the Patriots didn't have to trade up was impressive as well. They sat exactly where they were and got the pick. I'm glad they got it. I mean, a team maybe could have... I'm sure they did their homework and found out no team was going to pick them before them, but you never know with the draft. Somebody could have surprised you and picked him, right?
I don't know if they knew that.
No, exactly, right.
I don't think they knew that 100%. That's my point. My point is I'm still surprised that they just sat there and didn't move up. But it's good that they didn't, and they got it at that exact spot without wasting. But they must have done the homework and be like, okay, San Francisco is really gonna go with Trey Lance, you know what I mean? Because he's friend with Mike Shanahan, the father of Kyle Shanahan, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he had some, because there's no way you're sitting there, you know what I mean, without like making a move, without knowing a little bit of what you're not 100% sure, because any team could have surprised you, but you must have had some kind of idea that the guy that you wanted might fall in your lap at that position. Besides that, I really like the edge picks, the linebacker pick. To me, if we didn't pick a quarterback in the first round, I would have wanted us to pick defensive players, and I think those are important. We drafted a running back. Running backs sometimes succeed, sometimes they don't, so we'll see what happens with that. The rest of the picks, like 5th, 6th, 7th round, we those guys might not even be on the team. If they are on the team, great, but we know they might not be on the team. But I'm happy with he honestly, just picking Mac Jones, if we pick Mac Jones and didn't pick anybody else, I would have been happy. Just because you intentionally went after a quarterback and you didn't come out and tell us Cam Newton is going to be the quarterback and we're going to succeed with Cam Newton. You know what I mean? So just getting Mac Jones was actually the draft to me.
Well, he actually did say that Cam Newton is the quarterback.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know he said that, but
if he said that unless if someone plays better than him.
Until
someone does better than him, right?
But if he didn't pick Mac Jones and he said Cam Newton is the quarterback, then you're like, fuck. Like, bro, what
who the hell is going to compete with Cam Newton? Right.
But yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. No, I certainly like the Mac Jones pick. I mean, how could you not like that pick? Like, I'm glad that the Patriots addressed a clear-cut, crystal-clear need that was on this roster, and what I've been wanting them to do for a while is to get another quarterback that knows how to play the position well and can throw the football accurately. And and that has a good pocket presence, and that can compete for the starting job right away. And I think they certainly got that with this Mac Jones pick. They've certainly gotten a guy that that has the potential to be the next guy for this franchise, and that the next starting quarterback, for the New England Patriots. It was impressive to me, like you said, that the discipline that the Patriots showed in staying and sitting at 15 and not moving an inch and not even thinking about trading up with anybody and still being able to get their guy that, they've always wanted to and that, and that they were most interested in, pretty much ever since the draft process started, you know, as far as being able to, you know, to take a look at these guys. So I think, you know, that was the guy that Belichick wanted with all along, because remember, that was the only quarterback he showed up to his pro day at. He didn't show up to Justin Fields' pro day. He didn't show up to Trey Lance's pro day. And if you mean to tell me that Belichick is going to draft somebody that he didn't even go watch them play or go even meet with them at all to get, you know, an idea of whether he thinks that person would be a good fit for the team, like, he's not doing that. Like, yeah, he sent the scouts to, you know, go look at him, and then sent Josh McDaniels and stuff, and the other guys to, you know, to go over there. But he himself wasn't there until Mac Jones. I know he wanted to see his boy, Nick Saban, but he still showed up nonetheless. So I'm certainly happy about that pick, and you know, hoping for, you know, big things for Mac Jones, you know, to come up, you know, in the future with the Patriots. We just need to get him in the weight room and put a few more pounds on, and get him in the facility.
But it's all about pliability. Pliability, bro.
Come on, the
GOAT,
but come on, even Tom Brady, even my boy has some muscle and come on, I'm rocking the hat. I know about pliability. Like, I you know what I'm saying? I trust me, I'm well aware and, you know, well, you know what I'm saying, knowledgeable, or at least know enough about it to, you know, be, you know, I actually, you know that they can work at the quarterback position. But I just feel that, you know, I'd like to see him actually look like a, you know, starting quarterback and look like an NFL, you know, player a little bit more. I know it worked him for Alabama and stuff, but that's just, you know, my preference and what I would think that, you know, they need to do. That's the only thing. Other than that, he brings everything to the table that I want a quarterback to bring to the table. And I'm glad we finally actually have a legit quarterback on this team, because it was about damn time. Now, get into the other picks. That D tackle they drafted from Alabama, you know, he's good and all, but I'm just concerned that, you know, they gave up a lot to get him. They gave up 3 picks. 3. A second rounder, and I think 2 third rounders to pick him up. Like, that's a lot. That's a hefty price to be paying for a defensive tackle. Like, even though I know he's a first-round talent, and they were even surprised he even fell that far and could have gone the first round, but that's just, you know, that's a lot of draft capital to, you know, be giving up and investing in, you know, a defensive tackle. So I hope it works out for him. Yeah, no, for sure. That's the only problem that I have with that pick. Other than that, you know, the player, you know, I think, you know, he can definitely help the defensive line and be able to contribute and be in that rotation, since they like to rotate a lot of guys on the defensive line. So he'll, you know, we'll see how that goes with him. And then the other picks, the Perkins pick, I like, you know, having another guy off the edge. Like I told you, John, on the IG Live, you can never have too many pass rushers and too many guys off the edge. Like, you know, being able to have depth at that position is important. You know, guys that can, you know, come off the edge and rush the quarterback and, you know, and get sacks is definitely something that's really important on defense and that you need. So I'm glad they addressed that. And then the linebacker from Michigan was certainly a pick that they needed to get, because they need to get young guy linebacker, because, you know, Hightower's getting up there. We don't know how much longer he's going to be and stuff. So they certainly needed a guy that could, you know, be his, you know, replacement and, you know, after he goes, whenever that is. And the other picks, the running back is solid. They needed another running back because our running backs get hurt a lot. So, you know, we'll see how he does. But, you know, he looks pretty good. And then the rest, we'll see what happens with them, because we don't know whether – I think they might just be camp bodies at this point, and guys just, you have on the training camp roster. So we'll see what they do and if they can even make the team. But the first few picks I certainly like from the New England Patriots, and I think they had a pretty good draft this year.
Mac Jones, man. I mean, I think a while ago, I hate to be like the guy that says, I felt like that's what they were going to do. But like a while ago, I was seeing that the Patriots were talking to him at the Senior Bowl. I had made a little graphic about him and posted it on the page. I'm like, this could be the guy, and
oh man, I thought you were gonna say "I told you so," John.
I'm not even gonna say that. You know what I'm saying?
I thought that was good. You can say it. I mean, I won't feel bad because I'll give you that you've been calling it for a while. You said a long time ago, as soon as the season ended and the Patriots started looking at these draft prospects. So
as soon as I seen we're picking at 15, I said Mac Jones should be the guy at 15. And with the last 2 months with the mock drafts and all that stuff, it didn't look like that was going to be a possibility. And it's amazing that the Patriots just sat there and the perfect guy fell to them, right? Mac Jones, the smartest quarterback in this year's draft, right? And I don't think it's not only just football. Like the guy has a 4.0 in school. You know what I mean?
Smart kid. Yeah.
He's a smart kid. I think one thing we talked about a lot last year is Cam Newton has a problem recognizing a lot of shit. Okay.
Yes, reading defenses.
From the line of scrimmage, reading defenses. You look at Mac Jones, he does not have these issues.
Well, he's a college boy, so I'm not saying
a college boy. But no.
Mac Jones?
Listen, there's when they talk about football IQ, this guy has the football IQ. You know what I'm saying? Like watching his interviews, hearing him talk about the game, breaking down, the formations and why he did certain things. Who he reminded me of? Like not even trying to be funny. Like when he speaks about football, who he reminds me of?
No, who's
literally
idea?
Tom Brady, bro. Like if you go back, it's not even funny.
Well, no, they've compared him to Tom Brady.
They have, but like you have to understand
if that's a fair comparison.
Of course, it's not a fair comparison because Tom Brady's the GOAT. But I'm talking about like when it comes to pure football knowledge and why you do certain things on the field. You'll ask him, why did you move there? He's like, well, if I know if I move my feet this way, this guy's going to move his body that way and the receiver's going to come open this way. You know what I'm saying? He's like, so I gave him a little shake just to move him off the spot so my guy can come open. And it's like shit I've heard Tom Brady say for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And, I've been watching, highlights, quarterback interviews for a long time. You know what I mean? I've seen Cam Newton speak about it. I've seen Jarrett Stidham speak about it. I haven't seen anybody speak to the level that Mac Jones is speaking in. You know what I'm saying? And his background, he's in the film room all the time. You know what I mean? He wasn't a surefire starter. So he's like, look, where I got my reps was the practice. You know what I mean? They wanted me to give the defense a bone. And it's like, no, I'm trying to compete to get the starting job. So I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Leadership, like he has leadership and, his funny body is not the only thing that's similar to Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he just like thinks the game on another level. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, especially in like mini camps or something. He's a guy, they say he has a photographic memory and,
Oh, really? I didn't hear that. Wow, yes, that's great. John, keep talking. I'm loving what I'm hearing about this kid. You're making me fall in love with this pick even more, and I already liked it.
He throws with anticipation. Going, John, preach. He plays with anticipation. And, one thing he says is like, you have to keep your eyes up at all times, right? And all my receivers know at any time they can get the ball. From read 1 to read 5, they know they can get the ball. And look at his highlights. Like, look at how he slides in the pocket. Like,
yes, pocket presence. Beautiful.
Dude, the pocket presence is crazy. Like,
yes,
the stuff you see Tom Brady doing, I know it's college, but the guy looks more polished, you know what I mean, than anything I've seen out of like a rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, Patrick Mahomes will tell you he just learned how to read the defense a couple years ago. Mac Jones already knows how to read the defense.
He's known this for years.
He's known this for years, and that's where, like, the guy's not athletic, right? He doesn't look like nothing, right? Tom Brady doesn't look like nothing. You know what separates Tom Brady from everybody else? The brain. You know what I'm saying? He always says, like, my body might not be working as fast as theirs, but my brain works faster than their body.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Facts. So a lot of people are saying, you know, he's not a mobile guy. Matt Ryan's not a mobile guy. You know, Matthew Stafford is not a more mobile guy. People don't talk about stuff like that.
When people say that he's not a very mobile guy, or I've also heard people say the league is going more toward mobile quarterbacks or something like that. And I say, let's look at the last Super Bowl winners. And the only one that's really mobile was Russell Wilson.
Patrick Mahomes
as well, obviously. Yeah. But besides that, most of those guys are, you know.
And you mean in the last, like, 10 years?
Yeah, standing in the pocket, like Tom Brady type of quarterback. And mobility, to me, I don't need my quarterback. Honestly, I don't need my quarterback mobile like Lamar Jackson or something.
Right.
I need somebody that just can escape the pocket when need be.
Slide.
Besides that,
slide or move within the pocket to give yourself more time. Right.
Besides that, I just need you to throw an accurate ball and read the defense correctly. If you can do those,
play the quarterback position.
Actually, one of the most important though, make the right decision under pressure. And I think that's what separates.
Bingo. Yes.
That's what separates Tom Brady from everybody else. That 2-minute drill, that 2-minute pressure doesn't crack Tom Brady.
Look at Mac Jones' tape. He does the same thing. He will stay in there with pressure coming in and still get the ball off knowing he's about to get hit. You know what I mean? And you see somebody like Cam Newton last year, as soon as he's about to get hit, he's throwing a pick. You know what I'm saying? And,
right.
He knows how to use his every single read, right? He knows. If you've seen the formations in Alabama, like, there's guys moving on every single play. There's two guys moving across the line. You know what I mean? Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. They do a lot of motioning, and Mac Jones has to be there to actually control that. And people talk about how, well, you know, they had some of the best receivers in the college, whatever.
Oh yeah, I heard that argument.
You still need somebody that's good enough to actually utilize those weapons. Like, you don't just send it. I can't go in there and do what Mac Jones just did. Like, the guy,
I'm sure the three of us couldn't do that, or any average Joe couldn't do that.
The guy threw for 41 touchdowns and threw 4 picks. Like, that's
unbelievable.
And he's not facing scrubs either. You're facing the best competition in college football.
Best conference in college football, period. Like, the best defenses in college football. Like, he's going against a lot of those guys make it to the league. A high NFL draft picks. Like,
first round, second round.
What more does he have to prove, and what more does he have to do to show that he's a good quarterback and that he can play in this league? And he has what he brings to the table, that those intangibles, and and just his play overall, his performance can translate into the NFL.
I think Mac Jones is going to surprise some people. I say don't let the look fool you. You know what I mean? Because, like, the quarterback position, like, you can be as athletic as you want, but if you can't think the game, you're Cam Newton.
Facts. Don't judge a book by its cover. Facts.
You can have all the muscles you want. You can be as fast as you want. But if you can't think the game and put guys in the right position, that's going to be a problem. And this is a guy that's able to put guys in the right position, able to make all the throws. He doesn't have all the arm talent, that they keep talking about. Arm talent's
overrated. Don't give me that.
Does Tom Brady have all the arm talent? They keep saying that Rodgers is the best quarterback, and Patrick Mahomes has, he's the best thrower of the football. It's like, but Tom Brady's winning the Super Bowls because he has the smarts. You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely my favorite pick. And then Christian Barmore, I know you're talking about how we traded 3 picks for him, right? And I think any year I would really, really agree with that, except for this year, because our roster is already huge, right? We already had like 76 guys on there. And taking all the picks that we had just wouldn't, it wouldn't do anything for us this year. So we had the luxury to be able to trade some picks.
But there were some picks that could be used to address some things that we didn't address. Like you were saying, we didn't draft some things that we didn't get, like
wide receivers,
a receiver,
right,
corner, a kicker, like what even they got a safety, but there was still some things they didn't get that they could have gotten in the draft with those picks. That's the only my biggest concern with that, and why I didn't really feel as though they should have given up that much draft capital to get that D tackle, even though that was a position of need. But yeah, that's a lot, though.
Right. Christian Barmore was also the defensive MVP in the national championship.
Oh yeah, he balled out against Ohio State. I saw that. He
balled out going in there. You know what I'm saying? Like he had the most
even before that, he was balling out.
He was, he was a monster in the middle, and I think it wasn't like too steep. It's this year anyway. You know what I mean? I feel like if it was any other year, it's like that's a lot. Even the receiver they got, Trey Nixon out of UCF. Y'all should go watch the tape. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna make a case that he's gonna be a stud or anything like that, but he's a guy that can play. But overall, I think the Patriots did a good job, with the draft this year for sure. And I think they listened to the fan base, for once, for a change.
Finally, about time.
And I think Robert Kraft came out and made his intentions felt like, get this shit right. You know what I mean? And I feel like they're in the right direction.
Yes, I'm glad he had that impact. Yes.
Which brings me to the question with Mac Jones. Who should be the starter at quarterback week 1? You know what I mean? Between Mac Jones and Cam Newton. Or should he be the starter?
I think it should be Mac Jones. I like having, like, knowing what I'm doing, and especially if I'm sure that this is the quarterback of the future, I would like to see him start. I think most likely Cam Newton will start, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe he has a better year because he's 1 year removed from his injury and he has more weapons now, so maybe he'll play better. But I actually would like to see Mac Jones just come in and step in and, get it going, like similar to what, not similar actually, but if we look at Justin Herbert last year, how he came in, even though he didn't get the starting job because
Tyrod Taylor
had Tyrod Taylor had the starting job until they punctured his lung, but
on purpose.
But I'd like to see him start. That's what I would like to see. I'd like to see him start. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to start Cam Newton, see how he does, and then maybe Mac Jones might come in later.
I'll definitely hear what you're saying, Vlad. And personally, as a Patriots fan and as someone who has, said that they don't want to see, Cam Newton as the starter, I'd like to see Mac Jones, starting. But realistically, knowing how Belichick is and how, he runs, the football team, it would be hard for me, unless if he blows them out of the waters and has an unbelievable and impressive training camp in preseason, it would just be hard for me to see Belichick start a rookie quarterback because, he hasn't, really done that, even though he had one for a very long time. But I don't know if he'd, be able to trust and, and be confident enough to, put a rookie in there week 1 right away. But I think that he'll certainly, if the team doesn't do well, if the quarterback, doesn't do well, and Cam Newton, if they, he doesn't have a good start to the season, I don't think that he'll be hesitant to put Mac Jones in and have him play in the middle of the season if he sees that, Mac Jones can, do a lot better than Cam Newton. So I think, realistically, Cam will, start the season. Even though I wouldn't be surprised if Mac Jones does, depending on how he does in training camp in the preseason. But I'm certainly rooting for Mac Jones to win that job and to be the starting quarterback. I'm hoping that he does really well and, he can get that, trust and confidence and belief in Belichick and McDaniels and the coaching staff for him, to be the starter of this team. So we'll see how training camp and preseason goes. But, certainly that's how I feel about the quarterback position with the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I think it's a question of who should, or it's either who should or who will, you know what I mean? And I think it's going to be Cam Newton who will be starting, but who should be starting is Mac Jones for sure, and I hope he can actually beat everybody out, first camp out, you know what I'm saying? Because I hope he can pick up the playbook quick enough. He looks like he's a guy that he's a film junkie, so I feel like he can come in here and do it. Throughout the whole draft, everybody kept saying he's the most pro-ready quarterback in the league. So I don't see why he'd come to New England for that to change all of a sudden. All of a sudden he's not ready for, you know what I'm saying? So I think Bill Belichick, he's a man of his word. And Cam Newton's going to be the quarterback, to start off. But I don't think he's going to be able to hold off Mac Jones long enough because that kid, he's just way too accurate. He's just way too smart, regardless of, Cam Newton looking like a statue and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You can't win football games like that. So for sure, I definitely like to see Mac Jones start, but it's probably not going to be what happens the first week. You know what I mean? We'll see what Cam Newton does. If he goes like 13 for 30, in a game to start the season.
He's not going to throw that many passes, though, because
exactly.
That's not his game. That's not what he does. Right.
And it's New England. How long do they want to survive doing that stuff?
Not very long. And they'll have a very short leash and short, a quick hook if he does bad this year, and doesn't get off to a good start. He won't be in there for too long if he, picks up where he left off from last year. I can tell you that much.
You're getting backup money for a reason, so.
Right, facts.
Over there.
Mac Jones is making more than him. Can you believe that? Mac Jones is making more money than Cam Newton, a veteran that's been in the league 10 years, going on in his 11th. And yet Mac Jones, a rookie quarterback that just got drafted into the league, is getting more bread than him.
He's getting more money this year.
Tell you something right there.
He's getting more money this year. Cam Newton's a rich guy. He doesn't even need all that stuff. So we'll see what happens.
No, but that's telling to me. That says a lot to me personally.
Mm-hmm. And that's gonna be it for the NFL segment, man. I thought that was a fun segment breaking down.
Was good draft talk, guys. That was awesome
for sure, man. And good luck to the Patriots. But on to the NBA, man. Let's get through some of this NBA stuff. LeBron James came back, man. He's
the
back
king
in the
is
building.
Back, huh?
I believe he scored like 16 points.
It's an all right game. That's not bad. That's an all right game. Not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. He's missed like the last 41 games or something like that.
That much? Jeez.
Yeah. He's missed the last
I didn't realize he was
games.
gone for that long. I knew it was a while, but 41, more than half the year. It's crazy.
Yep. LaMelo Ball return, from the wrist injury after a month
of
being off. The guy, he's got to be like Wolverine or something because
and still dropping dimes
pretty fast. Yeah, I seen that, man. Like the guy,
boy came back and shoot.
He's young.
Right.
Kawhi
he still
Leonard
could win that Rookie of the Year, John.
He still could.
It's still possible. But do you think it's possible, Vlad, for him to still win Rookie of the Year even with the amount of time that he missed?
Nah, way too many games. He missed way too many games. I was hoping so, but I think he missed way too many games. I mean, the first report said he wasn't going to come back at all. So I'm shocked that he's back.
Yeah, me
but
too.
He's missed too many games. I doubt it.
I think it's a popularity contest and anything can happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, because he was so highly, favored to be that. You know what I mean? The odds or whatever when he was playing. So I think if he does anything spectacular, like if he has like 2 games with like triple doubles, you know what I mean? I think he's gonna be right back in that picture, and Stephen A is gonna be like, that's the one. He's the one.
That's the rookie of the year. Right,
you know what I mean? Like, I know.
I don't care how many games he missed. He better win rookie of the year.
You know what I mean? Like, God damn it, he healed up in a month. He came back.
Right, and it's still balling.
So listen, if he does anything special, I think anything can happen. Because Minnesota doesn't get all that much coverage anyway, so it's
people know about Anthony Edwards now,
but they're still not on TV as much. Like LaMelo Ball is like must-see TV right now.
No,
you know what I mean? Like he's on every highlight every single night. So
right.
Popularity contest, anything can happen. Kawhi Leonard came back.
Finally.
Yeah. How many games did he miss?
I don't even know, but it seems like he doesn't even play, so it's hard to keep track.
Hey, it might be in
he be using that load management to the best of his abilities. So hopefully he's ready to play now because it's almost playoff time.
That's right. Head coach Terry Stotts, he's the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. He will likely be fired at the end of the season. That's what is being reported. So there you go with that right there. The Suns, Phoenix Suns, man, like this is so weird to say, got the best record in the NBA right now.
Wow.
Like that's like
wow.
Times have changed. Times definitely have
impressive.
Changed.
Wow. Big shout out to the Phoenix Suns. Shoot, from worst to first, man. Best record in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Within 1 or 2 years? Crazy, man. Shout out to them, and then shout out to Chris Paul and Monty Williams. That those guys have changed the culture there, like Chris drastically.
Paul, MVP season, man. He's great.
Without question.
Kyrie Irving continues to be out. These guys are like a ever revolving door of injuries over there. It's either James Harden, Kevin Durant, or Kyrie Irving.
Do you think they all just gonna be suddenly available for the playoff?
That would be very interesting. They need to get fined a bit if that's the case. You know what I mean? Like I would give those guys a hefty resting fine if that was the case. So all of a sudden, you guys are 100%?
No, they're using the load management factor to their advantage. That's what teams do, John. That's what the NBA is now. It's all about load management, resting your key guys, making sure that they're healthy and as close to 100% as they can be, before the playoffs come. So that's what they're doing. That's what the league is right now, guys.
Yeah, facts, man. A name you guys might not have heard in a long time, Anderson Varejao.
Wow. I haven't heard that in centuries.
He's back in centuries. He's back in the NBA with the Cleveland Cavaliers for the rest of the season. Like,
wow, that's random. That's weird.
I just think
they're not making the playoffs. They're not going anywhere. Like,
and a guy
why they even signing anybody?
And a guy like Isaiah Thomas is just like in the streets.
Right, he's not getting any deals, and not getting another deal from anybody. No 10-day contract, no nothing.
Nothing. Like,
it doesn't make sense.
It's very strange.
Asinine.
Anderson Varejao. He looked like
Varejao.
that dude.
Like, I didn't even know he was still playing basketball.
He looks like that
he was doing something else with his life.
Right. He looks like that dude from The Simpsons. The crazy dude with the hair. What's his name? He's like he was like a serial killer.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
I forget his name.
I forgot his name, man. But everybody knows what we're talking about, man.
Right, right.
So Anderson Varejao, all of a sudden, he's resurrected and he's back.
The Wild Thing. They used to call him the Wild Thing, right?
That's right, because he used to be wild all over the place.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Steph Curry made the most threes in a month with 96 in the month of April.
Whew.
96 3-pointers.
Jeez.
Okay.
That's impressive.
My God.
Listen, within like 2 months next year, this guy should have like the most 3 points in NBA history all time. Like it's
right. He's gonna beat Ray Allen's record by next year, definitely.
It's ridiculous, man. Like
it is.
He's a cheat code, man. A 3-point cheat code, straight up.
Honestly.
You know? But and
you saw, I mean, I'm sure you guys saw this before, the clip of when he was like 10-11 and he shot the ball like it was nothing.
I mean, I don't doubt it, but like
I've seen that just when he used to be at like NBA games with his dad.
With his dad, like he shot the way he shot the ball at when he was 10, and the same way he shot the ball now.
And just to see it though, you know what I mean? Especially against your own team when he dropped like 47 on the Celtics, so effortless, man. It's like the guy. Look at Steph Curry, man. You know that saying?
Yeah, I know.
That dude. Look at Steph, man. He's so inspirational. You know?
For real, and it's crazy. And it's crazy because, you know, some people don't even hit 96 threes in a season, and he just did that in a month.
I don't think Shaq remarkable. I don't think Shaq hit 96 threes in his career.
In his career,
bro. There's some Hall of Famers that probably didn't hit, you know, 96 3-pointers in their careers. Like it's astounding, man.
And I've ended on this. In the words of Drake, chef cooking with the pot, boy.
That's right. Russell Westbrook is averaging a triple-double for the 4th time in his career, which is freaking amazing, man. Brody is that guy.
Man, he's killing it.
Yeah, but I understand, and it's cool and all, but I need you to win. Like I'm a guy that look at the bigger picture, and it's an amazing stat, but stats are stats at the end of the day. And
yeah, but they've been winning lately, as of late.
No, I know, but they're not. You know, they're not gonna do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right, they'll make the playing tournament, but you're right, they ain't even winning the playing tournament.
I mean, I don't know. I admire his you know, his efforts and the way he plays and his loyalty to not go to like, he's not running to go to like, you know,
a contender,
yeah,
or
going on a super team, right.
Or super teams, like building super teams. But he needs to find a way to win, man.
And he's played with some great players too. He should have won much more than he has. He's played with some of the best players in the league in this era of the NBA. So it's amazing and, you know, unbelievable that he hasn't won more than he has, because he can't say he hasn't played with any top-tier talent, because, you know, he certainly, you know, has had plenty of that and hasn't been able to take advantage of it and, you know, lead that into winning games in the playoffs.
I think Russell Westbrook is an alpha person. He's an alpha male, right? As soon as he gets on the team, like if you don't have the balls, like Russell Westbrook will take over whatever, you know, leadership role you think you have. You know what I'm saying? Like even looking at him with Kevin Durant, it's like, Kevin, you're the best player on this team. Say some shit. You know what I mean? All that stuff you were saying in OKC, I'm Kevin Durant. That's what you needed to be. I mean, in Golden State, I'm Kevin Durant. Like this is the shit you needed to be saying to Westbrook. Like, back the fuck up, pass me the ball. You know what I mean? You know how he came at Draymond? Give me the ball. I'm Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? So
right, where was that same energy in OKC? Right.
You know what I mean?
Where was that at?
And he hasn't had like, you know, and then he played with Paul George, who's a freaking loser at times. You know what I mean? So he's still taking over. And, you know, now he's playing with Bradley Beal, who he's more on the cool side of things, you know what I mean? But Bradley Beal is still a dog.
Ooh, he's a killer, man.
He's a dog.
Bradley Beal's a killer, man. Woof. That dude's a bucket, as they say. He is a bucket.
The play-in tournament will be adopted as a permanent structure for playoffs, and I don't know if I like that so much. So that means like teams that didn't work hard enough to be one of the 8 seeds get to play in, you know what I mean, and could possibly beat a team that did everything they should have did to be in that position. That's where I'm at with that. How you guys feel about that?
Well, I think it might make some of the teams that might not make the playoffs be a little bit more competitive, trying to make the playoffs. I'm not a big fan of it. What I really wanted was not have the conference. not have the conferences for the playoff, and then list the teams from 1 to 16, and then have them match up that way. That's something that they talked about a long time ago. I wanted that instead, like where you could have had the Celtics and the Lakers playing before the finals or something. You know what I mean? Like, I was more interested in that than this playing tournament.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually like this playing tournament, guys. Just for the simple fact that, it makes all these regular season games important. Like, like every game, like, matters. Like, or a lot of these teams
don't end up in the playing tournament, dude. You got to work hard to not be in there.
Yeah.
No, I hear you, but at least gives, these teams a chance that, it makes, the regular season games matter, because there's some regular season games that, the teams just don't take seriously, and they just, they got, like, some teams like throw away games and not play, as hard and with the same energy and intensity as they should. So it definitely, makes these games mean a lot more, and it makes things interesting. It makes you actually have to work to get to those top 6, seeds, and to, and to stay out of that playing tournament and not be in a one game elimination game. And, so you have to, those regular season games, definitely are much more significant and more emphasis on them, as opposed to, what they were before, as automatically the top 8 being in. So that's really, the reason why I like it, and it makes for good, entertainment at the end of the season.
I think you make some definitely make some valuable points there. Moving on, John Wall is out for the rest of the season with a hamstring injury.
Of course he is. Of course.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because I mean, you guys are not in playoff contention. Why would we keep playing?
Right. Why are you coming back anyways? Wasting your time. Right.
You wasting my talents here. I'm gonna let Kevin Porter Jr. Do things and take.
Yeah, let him drop 50 and get buckets. Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And while we lose by like 30. You know what I mean?
For real.
I mean, when I seen that news, I was definitely not surprised at all. But on to some Celtics news, man. The Celtics have had a few games since the last time we spoke. They played against the Hornets. They lost 125-104 against the Thunder. They lost 119-115. And Jason Tatum missed that game, so that could have been a factor. They faced the Hornets again, and they won this time 120-111. And then faced the Spurs. They won 143-140 in a 32-point comeback by the Celtics. And, some Celtics news. Jason Tatum dropped 60 in that game against the Spurs.
60 McNugget. Woof.
60 of them, kid. You know what I mean? That's what he said.
Right. Oh, yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah.
Marcus,
I got you, John. I know what you're talking about.
Marcus Smart was suspended one game for, directing some comments at refs, some threatening comments at the refs in a game. And so he got suspended for one game. Peyton Pritchard signed a shoe deal / endorsement deal with Nike. When everybody
nice. Good for him.
Everybody.
There you go, Peyton. I see you.
Y'all gonna cop the P Rabbits?
No.
I love that reaction, right? That was priceless. The look on your face. He's like, not a chance. He's like, I wasted my hard-earned money.
What are those? The Boston Pea Parties? Like,
oh man, what would your reaction be if you seen someone rocking them? What would your initial reaction be if you see that? Like someone just walking by.
I mean, it's Nike, so people are gonna buy them.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Like, why is Peyton Pritchard getting an endorsement deal now? You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't done anything yet.
He's played well, but I don't know well enough to get endorsement. I hear what you're saying, not enough to get a deal from Nike just yet. He hasn't been balling out like that just yet. So
listen, you might as well give Tremont Waters a shoe.
Carson Grant Williams a deal, and Silly Ojale if that's the case.
Carson Edwards has one. All right, he has one. Yes, he's been had one. Yeah, I think Carson Edwards is either with Adidas or Puma or something. One of them. I know Aaron Neesmith is with like New Balance, dude. Like, yes, dude. Like they all have endorsement deals.
So then it doesn't mean.
So why doesn't my guy Taco Fall have one? Where's his shoe deal at? Why can't he eat too?
The big false. That's
yeah. Let my guy get a shoe deal. Like, why they hating for?
I thought it was the taco balls.
Oh man. So you really thought that's what his shoes called?
Yo, dude.
Oh man.
All right, man. Well,
shoot. Y'all got jokes today, man.
For real though. The Boston Pete
roasting
parties.
Session. I like that nice little roasting session right there.
Peyton Pritchard, man, he got a shoe deal. Rob Williams came back, which was a boost for us. In the energy department, looked like we had some more energy. Time Lord. Kemba Walker missed the last 3 games with an oblique strain. Tell me if you heard that, before.
Are y'all tired of Kemba?
Yep, absolutely.
I don't know if I'm tired, but like these injuries are piling up, man. And it's like the best ability is availability, man. I like Kemba, but dog, you have to be on the court, man. You just have to.
For real.
Like, like all these, it's like, you played all these times in Charlotte and, perfectly fine. As soon as you come here, bro, you're like an injury machine, man. Like, it's
for
weird.
Real.
It's weird.
For real. Like, he's one of the most durable players in his time with the Charlotte Hornets. That as soon as he comes here and signs that max deal, and gets the back from the Celtics, boom, injuries just happen time and time and time again. Like, it's getting ridiculous. To the point where the Celtics gonna have to do something with that contract. This is not gonna cut it. Like he's not. It's not worth it. Like keeping that deal. Like they're gonna have to do something.
There's gonna be some nice prospects in the draft. At point guard. So we'll see.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I'm talking about.
Plus, we got some guys we've stashed away that I feel confident in. Like I told you that before, like that Jan Madar kid.
Hopefully they bring him up for next year. Hopefully they call him up.
When they call him up, you're gonna see some stuff. So
I'm looking forward to it. Let's see.
For real, man. Some of the Celtics' upcoming games are against the Magic on the 13th, against the Bulls, and then against the Heat. So these are some upcoming games for the Celtics. But we've watched the Celtics all season. They've definitely been inconsistent throughout the time. We've seen like very great comebacks. We've seen some, comebacks that fall short. We've seen some games that we should win and we get blown out. You know what I mean? We've seen some very uncharacteristically, behaviors in this team this year, right? Can this team turn things around before the playoffs?
I don't expect it. I mean, they had that 5-game winning streak, and that was something that you thought was going somewhere, and then they end up losing to Charlotte by 20-something. And Charlotte out of all teams, and they're too inconsistent for me. My belief is the team is hitting growing pains. Some games they play well, some games they don't. They're really going to be good next year. That's my belief, because Jason Tatum have gone to another level. He's gone to that level where if you need him to take over a game, I think he actually can take over a game now. With the 60-point, the 52-point, like he's shown me that when he needs to take it that other notch, he might be able to do that. Jaylen Brown has been playing better. You know what I mean? Like he's brought his game to a whole other level this year. The Time Lord has been playing better, even though I don't know, he needs to be available, and he needs to like not miss games. But if he can be available, he's been a lot better. So you have guys that are getting a lot better, and that next year I think the team is gonna be so much better. But this year, man, to me, it's a loss already. I think we will be in the playoff, but I don't know how long we're gonna be in the playoff for, especially if we face the Bucks the first round. To me, it's really, let's look, next year is really the year where the team might be better, because the guys now are experiencing growing pains, and it's just not, I don't see any way this team turns it around and have a deep playoff push.
No, definitely hear what you're saying, and I'm kind of, with that, I don't think that there's, enough time with 8 games left of this season, for the Celtics to come back and, actually make a run in the playoffs and make something, and salvage this, disappointing and frustrating season that, they've had, because particularly since they added, a couple of new guys to the mix and they haven't played much, plus the, guys, being injured, a lot and being in and out of the lineup. So I don't know if they're going to have the right sort of, chemistry and continuity that you would need, in order to do well enough in the playoffs. I don't think they've played, enough games together, to be able to actually, make a deep playoff run and actually have, any sort of success in the playoffs. I wouldn't even be surprised if they end up losing in the first round to, regardless who they play, even the top 4, teams in the East. I don't see them beating. Even like a team like the New York Knicks, they may not even win a series, with them. So I think, it's just been, unfortunate with this team and, how they've played, and their, effort has, just been sporadic, to say the least, and, not good enough, and just, losing too many games to teams that there's no way in hell you should lose to, especially against OKC. Thunder, that loss was brutal and unacceptable, and, sickening to watch them lose to a team that's lost to 14 straight games. And then the G League team pretty much. So I think, I think there's a lot of changes that need to be made with this team, and some big changes that need to be made, after this season. And they really need to, do a reshape of this roster. Like, definitely Tatum, Brown, Time Lord Williams, those guys, are definitely going to be on the team, and, the building, blocks of, of the future of the Celtics. But, pretty much everyone else, they should, definitely consider moving on from, if they get the right deal and the right opportunity to upgrade the roster and, get better talent around Tatum, and Brown and Time Lord, because, the team's just not good enough to really do anything this year and make any of this season, as much as I hate to say it. I want to believe, but they just haven't given me, a good enough, reason and seeing good enough play from them to want to believe they can actually make something of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm more of like the optimistic person. I think a lot of things could happen this year, right? We've seen them where they've been pretty good and playing up to their potential, and we've seen them where they've been pretty bad. But with that said, it's kind of like we have a feel around here for the Celtics for some reason, right? The last time we felt like this about them was when Kyrie and them was on the team, and they got their ass beat,
by the Bucks in the second round. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After, beating them for the first game. You know what I mean? They did play a lesser team. I think they played Orlando.
The Pacers.
The Pacers, right?
Yeah, they swept them.
You know, so
the Pacers were banged up though. They didn't have Oladipo. They were missing, you know, a few key guys in their lineup.
This year kind of like reminds me of that. I mean, not as frustrating as that year, but this year kind of like has similarities where it's like kind of frustrating the inconsistencies that's going on around the team. That suggests that
I see what you're saying.
Right.
With that. No, I
that
agree.
suggests that, you know, this team probably won't go far. You know what I mean? And then you get the game the other day where they played the Spurs and we come back from 32 and everybody's like, we're gritty, we're playing, and then you see
why were we down 32 though?
Exactly.
For real.
That's what I'm
why
saying.
Did it get to that point?
It's like, yo, we can win these games, but like we're not playing hard enough, I guess, until our backs are against the wall, and that's not the way to play in this league. You know, that's definitely not the way to play. But we did see some good developments in that game right there. Peyton Pritchard, you know, getting better and better as the season goes on. Aaron Nesmith has made a sighting.
Yeah,
like he's been
that's
balling.
That's 2 games.
2 games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
he
like
took on the Charlotte game and then the Spurs game. Yeah,
he's hitting threes. He's cutting, hitting mid-rangers, rebounding, stealing. Like he's doing
playing
everything.
Good defense, good one-on-one defense. Right.
He's been in the fourth quarter in the last minutes, the last couple games, and he's delivered. You know what I mean? Like some key moments in the games, and without him, we don't win both those games.
Without him, he's making big plays down the stretch. Now, I actually wanted to ask you guys a question about him. Do you guys think he should be in the playoff rotation?
Oh, I mean, he's definitely working to earn that. You know what I mean? Like he looks better than a Romeo Langford, you know, a Sammy Ojale. Like the guy. He looks like he's getting confidence.
Right, like what happened to Romeo? He looked good when he came, and then all of a sudden he just fell off the face of the earth and collapsed.
Don't know, but Aaron Nesmith, he's coming. He's doing what we thought he was supposed to be doing earlier in the year.
Right,
but
exactly.
At least it's coming around now, and I like what Vlad was saying about, you know, some guys are coming into their own, and I think next year he's probably going to be really good with Peyton Pritchard. You know what I'm saying? With a year under their belt and getting more comfortable and knowing what they're doing out there. So
right, I'd like to see him as a 6th man next year. You know, one of the first couple guys coming off the bench.
Right. We'll see what happens, man. But I don't know. Like
let's hope he keeps this going because it's been a couple games. So hopefully he can keep this going. And I just wanted to make this one last point that. John, you brought up that there's been a lot of similarities between this team and the Kyrie Irving team a few years ago in 2018. And I think the biggest similarity, unfortunately, for the Celtics is just like the lack of effort. Like one thing that pisses me off and like is a pet peeve of mine that I can't stand is when teams have a lack of effort and they don't play hard and, you know, exactly, and play down to their competition. Like that just pisses me off and gets under my skin. I can't stand that.
And I think that's why Aaron Nesmith has stuck out the last 2 games, because he's literally the one player out there that's playing 100 miles an hour and giving up his body for everything. And like at the end of the game, last game, like he had like the last 5 sequences had Aaron Nesmith in it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, absolutely.
You know, I agree with what you're saying.
He made that great play when they tried to go at him on the lob in the paint, and he ended up stealing the ball and giving it to JT for him to hit those free throws. And that pretty much won them the game right there.
That's right.
Once they went up 4, that was ball game.
That's right. I mean, listen, hopefully the Celtics can start, you know, gaining more chemistry as they
really
start figuring things out.
I really do, John, too.
Fournier's back, and he has a couple games under his belt now. Hopefully he's rounding back.
But he hasn't been looking good.
He's coming off COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's true.
That's
true.
Jason Tatum didn't look so great when he came back from COVID either. So,
and look at him now. Right.
Look at him now. Hopefully he can string some stuff together, get his legs under him, and be able to help us out a little more with
I hope so, man.
Kemba being out and all. But you know, we'll keep you guys updated on the Celtics for sure, man. We're going to go into the MLB where we'll get this down real quick. Let's get on to the MLB and update, you know, the Pro Fan Sports podcast listeners on the Red Sox, man, who are playing well. So some of the last games that they've played against the Mets twice. They won both games, 2-1 and 1-0. I think they faced Jake the Brom.
Jake the Brom, yeah.
The Brom, right? And they won that game 1-0, which was a big deal. They played the Rangers 3 times. They lost 4-1, and then 6-1, and then 8-6. And some of the upcoming games that they got, it's a 3-game series against the Tigers and a 4-game series against the Orioles, which should indicate that we should be going on a run there because those teams are not the best right there. But, you know, the Bruins, I mean, I'm naming all the Boston teams.
Red Sox.
The Red Sox.
Talking baseball. Yeah.
The Red Sox
I know, it's crazy we're actually talking Red Sox and actually can have a Red Sox segment and conversation on this podcast.
Right, man.
I don't think we've had that before the last time I checked.
They've been doing well, man. And their pitching staff looks really good. The teamwork looks pretty good. The hustle is there. They still got the best record in the AL East right now. And I'm not sure if they still have the best record in the league, period. Do they?
No, I don't think not best in the league. No. But I think that they might be first in the division, though.
Yes, they are first in the division.
Definitely not in the league. But no, they're looking good, though.
Right, and I think a question is like, you know, where do we give the credit, right? Because we saw, you know, Shane Bloom come in and bring in a lot of underrated players, you know, players that are hungry, you know, that's how we got Lil Dougie over there, you know what I mean? And then, you know, Alex Cora coming back, man, you know, how much should we, you know, credit those guys for what the team is doing?
Well, I want to give the credit to Alex Cora, just because he wasn't here last year. His first year with the team, he had one of the best seasons. He had one of the best seasons. And with the team this year, nobody thought the team was going to be good. Everybody was saying, oh, we didn't make as many moves as we needed to. We let go of some of our best players. And look at how well we're playing. So I'm gonna give the credit to Alex Cora for motivating those guys. And he's one of those coaches that they talk about just being able to relate to the players. And he's been able to get the best out of the players every time he's coached the team. So I'm definitely gonna give credit to Alex. I'm not saying Bloom doesn't deserve credit, but I think Alex has a lot to do with what's going on with the team.
Nah, definitely certainly hear what you're saying, but I'm actually going to give credit to both of them. Both Alex Cora and Shane Bloom. I think they've both, done a really good job, with this team and getting the best, out of them. I think, the moves that, Shane Bloom has made in the offseason have, so far worked out. And the guys are playing well, like Kiki Hernandez, he's been playing well, contributing. The Marwin Gonzalez's, the Hunter Renfroe, all those guys that, he brought and added to, this roster have certainly, played well and, contributed when they've gotten their opportunities and been on the field. So, certainly from that standpoint, he's, gotten credit. He's, also gotten some pitchers that have actually been looking so far decent and not bad, not as bad as, everyone, that follows the Red Sox would have thought that, they would do. So, he's certainly made, so far the moves that he's made have, been good. Let's, continue to see how that goes moving forward. But, definitely without question, Alex Cora deserves a lot of credit as well, with what he's done, with this team, getting the best out of these guys. Like, now you're seeing all their top players play like, like they're supposed to be and like they're capable of. Like, J.D. Martinez sucked last year. Garbage, straight poo-poo.
Putrid.
He's on fire now. He already has, 8-9 home runs and among the league leaders in doubles and has been balling. Like, he's been killing it, to say the least. Xander Bogaerts has been doing his thing and playing really well. And that's certainly a thing, another guy that Alex Cora has, impacted and affected.
Tapped into.
Right, absolutely. Thank you, John. Even Devers has been playing well, and has looked good so far this year. And, he's hitting and fielding much better because he, wasn't the best fielder and used to make errors before, but now he's cut down and limited on that and gotten better in that aspect of his game. And I think, of course, certainly, motivated and pushed him to, improve, on that aspect, of his game that he needed improvement in. Even Verdugo's been, playing well. And he didn't do well last year. Yeah. Is that who you call Little Doug? I wasn't sure who you were referring to.
That was Dougie.
As that. So, no, definitely shout out to him. That's a pretty cool and awesome nickname. So, no, he's certainly been, playing much better than he did, last year. And, and as well as, the rest of those guys. And, even their pitching, like their pitching last year, I can name 2 starters on that team. The only person I could name was Nathan Eovaldi. The rest of them, I don't even know if they're still in the MLB right now. Right. So I think, the Nick Pavettas have been chipping in well. Garrett Richards is starting to get it together after shitting the bed earlier in his first couple of starts this year, making excuses of why he was sucking and couldn't pitch and throw strikes. Now, I think that's another guy Core's getting to, shut your mouth and pitch better and throw some damn strikes. And instead of, getting your ass lit up like a freaking Christmas tree every time you're out there. So, and the rest of those guys, Erod, has been pitching great. He had a little bit of a, shaky game against the Rangers in his last start. But other than that, he's looked really good, in his other starts and games that he's been in. And the bullpen is doing better. That was the biggest weakness with this team. And the bullpen is certainly doing a lot better than what they were, last year. Even like guys like Matt Barnes, who were trashed last year, are pitching well and, and is the closer now and making saves for us. So, definitely Alex Cora, I'm glad they brought him back, and he's certainly done a great job with this team, and getting, the best out of these guys like a good manager and coach does. And I think that's what they were missing last year because they didn't run Renicky last year, just wasn't a good manager and didn't really, get the best out of these guys and, and get them, ready to play like Cora has. So definitely those guys both deserve a tremendous amount of credit on what they've done with this team so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to opine on this because Barry pretty much dropped every single point that we could make, as far as the Red Sox. So, it's really not much to say, man. I think it's just been a great turnaround. And, the Red Sox sound like they're fun to watch again, and I've seen a couple of those games.
Absolutely. I've even been watching a couple too, right?
Yeah, me too, and the most, I guess, visible thing you could see is that this team wants to compete. You know what I'm saying? Like, this team is not a team that's going to lay down. You know what I mean? Kind of like last year where it was just like,
as soon as they got down, boom, the game was over.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad, morale is back up in the bullpen, in the clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad they got Alex Cora back. People didn't like the move to bring him back, but
these fans were bashing him. You were hearing the talk too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Clearly, the guy knows how to relate to the players, and the players respond to him. So, more power to him, man. And I think he served this time for whatever happened with him. And we just got to move on because he's a hell of a
manager. Absolutely, one of the best managers in baseball, without question.
Let's move on into the NHL where Bruins are also doing well. They're doing some things as well, man.
Right, another Boston team doing well. The Celtics should be taking notes.
They should be
on how the Bruins and the Red Sox are doing because they're slacking. They're making us look bad. Everybody else is playing well and doing their thing, and the Celtics are, not playing well at all, and
right,
and it's terrible.
So some of the Bruins games that they've played, the last 3 games they won. They played 2 against the Penguins and 1 against the Sabres. They won 3-2, 5-2, and then 6-2. Some upcoming games they have is on the 3rd, the 4th, and the 6th. Which actually I think we messed up a little bit in the basketball segment. Where we gave the dates and it was like the 13th, 15th. I'm like, we're in the 2nd, so that should have been,
Yeah, we're in May now, guys. It's a whole new month. Yeah, right. We're not in April anymore. Yeah.
So those games are actually like today. They got one, and then in a couple
They're playing
more
Portland
days.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we correct ourselves with that one right there. Some upcoming games, they play the Devils twice on the 3rd and the 4th, and then they play the Rangers twice on the 6th and the 8th. Some news: Craig Smith had a hat trick the other day, and I think they won that game.
Yeah, they won 6-2.
And then the goalie Jeremy Swayman has been playing very well. He's a hot shot right now. Man, the team,
he is killing it, doing his thing.
Yeah, and I think his name is Hall. He's been
Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall has been on fire as well.
That boy's been sniping, John.
Yeah, he's been sniping.
Man,
it's like
his goals look beautiful, man.
It's like he forgot the team he just got traded from, and he came to life, and he's doing things, man. So
now we're seeing why he was a former MVP, player in this league, and we're seeing those talents and stuff. So no, he's been playing well. Just one other person who's been doing really well and stuck out to me is David Krejci.
Yes, David Krejci has been doing his thing.
He's been playing the best hockey I've seen him in years. Like he's been doing things I haven't seen this guy do for a while. The goal he scored the other night was amazing.
You guys been watching a lot of hockey?
I have been watching hockey, man.
I've been watching some, absolutely, especially since the Bruins have been playing well and looking like an exciting and fun team to watch. So yeah, no, I've definitely been tuning in and and watching their games. They're a watchable team, unlike some team in this city.
You got Barry's face leaking.
I know. My fault, guys. I know these allergies are killing me, man. It's allergy season, so these allergies be getting to me sometimes, and are clearly dominating me.
Overall, man, the Bruins have been doing their thing, man. Both a lot of the Boston teams have been on the tear lately, so good luck to them. And I have been watching some of the hockey games, with my roommate and stuff. So I've been able to take a few
he's a hockey fan too?
He's just a sports fan overall. So any sport that's on TV, awesome. Like the guy will watch those big truck things, race if that's all there is to watch on TV. Remember we were recording that thing?
Yeah.
We were like, what the fuck is that on TV?
Yeah, when we were watching that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. That was hilarious. That was funny. He even watches that. That's interesting.
The Bruins are very close to clinching their playoff berth. A lot of teams are clinching now, and they're a win or two away from actually clinching theirs. So we'll update you on what's going on with the Bruins, as always. And now we're going to get into the B Money Lifestyle People of the Week.
Yes, thank you, John. I appreciate it. So, for the B Money Lifestyle People of the Week, we have a couple of people that I'd like to recognize this week during this segment of the show. The first one is a person who just got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they, pretty much had a really tough, upbringing in childhood. I believe at the age of 12, he was living in a homeless shelter with him and his family. Him and his parents and four siblings lived in a shelter, and what was kind of cool and pretty awesome that he did, on draft day was that, the same shelter he lived in, when he was 12, he actually ended up hosting a pizza party for, the kids in the neighborhood, to come by and, have some pizza and watch the draft, with him. And I thought that was, really, genuine and really, humbling for him to do that. And, was, awesome and impressive for, a young kid like him to, have that kind of, maturity and to, remember where he came from and, give back to, the community and not forget his days where, where his family wasn't doing so well and to always, and to make sure that those kids, have, do better, than he did, and and give back to them in the best way he can. So definitely want to give him a big shout out for doing that. That definitely impressed me, and it stood out to me when I, was reading about that story. So it's definitely something that was inspiring, to say the least, and it just makes you want to do more and give back to your community and the people that deserve it, like he did. So definitely big shout out to him for doing that. And then also the second person who I wanted to give a shout out to was Gianna Bryant, who obviously tragically passed away in that helicopter crash last year, with her father Kobe Bryant and the other passengers who were on there. Her birthday was actually just passed and was on May 1st, so she would have been 15 years old, if she was still alive. And and definitely would I was on her way to being a future basketball star in college and in the NBA. So just wanted to shout her out and pay my respects to the Bryant family, who going through still a tough time and, to a tough tragedy that happened last year. But, we hope that better days are ahead from them and that they can, do their best to, to keep their legacies going, in Kobe and Gianna Bryant. So definitely shout out to, Gianna Bryant as well. And that, so those are your B Money Lifestyle people of the week, Najee Harris and Gianna Bryant. So congrats to both of those people and for getting this week's B Money Lifestyle. And that's definitely that B Money Lifestyle.
For sure, man. And I know Gianna Bryant has a line out now called Mamba City. So, Mambasita.
Yes.
It's out there for sale. So help them out, and I don't think they need me to advertise for them because
right,
they got all of the
NBA players already rocking their gear.
Right. So I'm sure that there's something that's pretty cool in her honor, and we're gonna wrap it up right here, man. That's episode 59. If you're still watching, man, we appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe before you leave. Subscribe to the channel. And,
yes.
Send it to your friends, man. Ask them to subscribe too. Help us out a little bit. And until next time, man, we'll catch you on episode 60, man. Peace out.
Peace. Have a good week, everyone. See y'all next week for episode 60.